hotter than it is right now.
This is No BS. No BS is presented by Screamin' Sicilian Premium Craft Frozen Pizza. Find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about. Welcome to No BS with Bill Schmidt and Armin Saryan.
No BS with Billy and Sarian starts up right now on 97.3 The Game network of stations, your iHeartRadio app, and we're live. You know what? We're going to stream live YouTube, X, and Facebook today.
Let's do it live.
Hanging out with all of you on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Couple opportunities to potentially put $1,000 in your hand, which we're big fans of being able to do here today. Interact on the talk and text line. Hopefully put, I don't know necessarily that it would be $1,000 in your hand later on at 11 o'clock.
Try
to put a little bit of something in your hand by Vic, no pause, by finally winning one of these parlays of the day. I mean, goodness gracious.
Don't be hard on yourself, Billy. It's only been 2 days. You say it like you haven't won one for 3 weeks or something like that. Come on, we're just one parlay away.
We're one parlay away as we started out. But like I'm telling you, as I'm watching last night, Bucks and Kings, great hoops night.
Great night. Bucks played great last night. I mean, in general,
start.
I mean, that's what we're talking.
47 in the first quarter.
Bucks came out. I said to myself, I think the Bucks will be motivated to get a win at home after what happened in New York. Mm-hmm. They rested. They're at home now, midweek game against the Kings. They came out and played one of the best first quarters. That was a super quarter. I mean, they almost scored 50 points in a quarter. I mean, that doesn't happen that often. George Karl used to talk about 40-point super quarters from the 0-1 Bucks. That was a 47-point super quarter. I mean, they looked like the Globetrotters last night for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in offensively, Brook Lopez has found a little something over the last number of weeks at 21 last night, alongside 33 from Giannis Antetokounmpo, and a really, really good 24-point night from Damian Lillard. We're hoping for just a tick better here on No BS. However, 5 of 8 from 3. My man started 3 of 5 from downtown in the first quarter. Like, it really was a great run out of the gate, which then allowed for Armin, most people, and I know you on this particular program, to sweat through what happened down at Wintrust Arena with your Marquette Golden Eagles against a team that, let me just make sure I had this right. Just trying to do some homework before the show. They call this stuff show prep.
That's what they call. That's what they're
trying to do. DePaul hadn't won a conference game in how many games?
It was like
30
something. Was it 30, whatever? They hadn't won in a couple of years.
That sounded made up, as Steve Lapis and whoever that guy was calling the game, who fired a dagger, I believe, on a Chase Ross 3 with 5.7 seconds to go, which put you up 2.
Listen, I get you're trying to be
which was immediately followed up by a game-tying, overtime forcing layup.
That was just a mess of broadcasting last night. I hate to do this because these guys are, who am I to say what a good broadcaster should be? These guys have done it in their field, but I don't need to hear Steve Lapis anymore. Steve Lapis, I'm sure you're a nice guy. Billy, I know you and Butch, I think, talked to him. I know Drew talked to him once down at the Final Four years ago. I know he's a nice guy. Listen, he used to coach, I think, at like Manhattan and Villanova and these places. Is he their only guy? They don't have anybody else on CBS Sports Network. Why is every game on CBS Sports Network Steve Lapis? We get Steve Lapis, who, I'm sorry, the last 10 minutes of the game in overtime, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's seeing. I don't know if he didn't have a monitor. He just seemed to be on the wrong side of every opinion. I just couldn't stand hearing Steve Lapis anymore when I'm already going through it. it.
You are struggling as a Marquette. Oh, my God. Struggling as a Marquette fan.
Steve Lapis, but, Chase Ross, thank goodness. What a shot by the kid. I love
Big
you,
onions
Chase.
by Chase Ross.
I love Chase Ross. Big shot. Changed Marquette's winning probability in that moment, by the way, 46%. That was impressive, but it wasn't the dagger, obviously. Oh, that was just a crazy
again, it was promptly followed up by a game-tying layup, which was almost goaltend. Yeah, which was on a goaltend, which almost was an elite block from my guy Ben Gold.
It was. I'm going crazy because I'm sitting there thinking he blocked it. He got pumpkin on hand before the ball hit the backboard.
It appears the middle finger of the New Zealander does tip that ball before it touches glass.
What am I missing here? Like I was just going crazy. When you're a Marquette fan, DePaul games are never fun because everyone thinks you should win by 40. There's nothing except avoiding losing in that night. It's never a fun experience. It
sounds like simply eating Brussels sprouts.
Oh my gosh. It's never a fun experience.
It was in front of a robust 6,416 who paid to see it.
Which is a big crowd at Wintrust, let me tell you, because they were all a lot of Marquette fans last night. DePaul seems to have their Super Bowl game against us. They find a way to have these incredible performances. Talking about the kid in overtime, Rivera, what was going on there?
Yeah, I never heard of that cat before. He had 12 points in the final 40 seconds.
This was like
of overtime.
It's like if Steph Curry and Larry Bird were on their hottest day. Couldn't have done that. These were all contested shots. I needed every piece of like Joplin hitting threes, Joplin's 30 points. I mean, you're in for a Tuesday night sweat against DePaul. It's not a fun experience. Everyone's like, how do we get here? But hey, that's just the way it is. It's always that way with DePaul. That's why the hashtag from our fans is DLTD, don't lose to DePaul. Okay. That's all you're trying to do. And listen, and then we're going to the Badger game last night. They're in a fight down the stretch all of a sudden.
Which ends up being an absolute swinging match going up against Chris Holtman's former squad.
Yes.
Who's now leading the DePaul Blue Demons.
Yeah, Holtman's at DePaul, and John Diebler's there now leading Ohio State, which, you're feeling good. I'm checking in with Butch, and he's feeling relaxed on the air. They're up 17 at half, I believe. They were up 17 at half.
Texting Butch during the game?
I wasn't texting. I was checking in with the broadcast.
Okay.
I know Butch's mood based on his voice usually. I just can feel it with Butch. And the next thing you know, of course, I checked into the Bucks. I was doing Bucks game after that. And then I'm watching the Badgers game as I'm falling asleep. Next thing you know, I'm sitting up in bed wide-eyed. We got a sweat going on. Thornton's making these shots. So it was a wild night on Tuesday night. A couple of sweaters, big time.
You give up 48 points in the second half. You're Wisconsin to have that thing be absolutely nip and tuck down the stretch is not what you're anticipating.
And I didn't think they played bad. That's the thing about it. Just like even Marquette last night, they're facing a zone all night, which they're going to have seen a lot of zones, I'm assuming. I don't think they played bad against the zone. I don't think they were defending that bad, but sometimes like DePaul's just making shots. Last night, Ohio State just gets hot in the second half, keeps the thing
white
close.
Hot, no doubt about it.
That's just the way it goes. And I always say, we're talking about college basketball now, no one remembers this in March. You don't remember these nights in March. These are like the dog days of college basketball. You just got to find a way to survive, find a way to win, and move on to the next game and set yourself up for those moments in March, which everybody remembers. Because they become a fleeting memory, but in the moment they feel like, my goodness.
In the moment, they're everything. And the last 4 minutes is what the text back and forth between Armin and myself was last night, with a lot of capital letters, a lot of screaming and ranting and yelling and raving. And it gets really intense. Yeah. It gets very intense in that group chat. However, 3 wins. Come on now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. We did 3-0 on the night. That's a good start.
So no matter how they come, if all your teams are winning in one night, you had a good night. So I have to sit there and remember that. That's what the reality of last night.
Let's be honest.
3-0 last night.
And let's be honest, we needed that a little bit after the weekend that all Wisconsin sports fans have had after the Packers get bounced a couple of days ago against the Philadelphia Eagles. They have the season-ending recap press conference with the head coach yesterday. Brian Gutekunst will have his turn coming up tomorrow around noon, and Matt Schneidman had his chance to catch up with the head coach. We're going to catch up with Matt Schneidman in about 35-40 minutes from right now. Play a little bit of what his conversation was with the head coach other than the one that we played yesterday.
Yeah.
So Matt Schneidman gets behind the scenes, Matt LaFleur podcast on the iHeartRadio app. Of course it is. That's where great podcasts live. So that will come up in a couple of minutes, but just in referencing and feeling around the temperament of the NFL yesterday, because a lot of teams are already a week into their exit meetings, Harmon. Now the teams that get bounced in the wild card weekend are starting to have some of those exit meetings. Matt LaFleur said, some people will, and I'll catch up with people over the next couple of weeks.
His office is always open.
Always open.
His office is always open. But he was going to have one with Keyshawn. But that's it.
That was it. That was the one that he let us all know that he was going to have. But I'm seeing so much more messaging like around the NFL, and we saw the Tucker Kraft post, and many people jumped on that of, we're the leaders on this football team. We talked about yesterday, Matt LaFleur talking about Jordan Love and wanting to motivate and push him into being a little bit more of a vocal leader, trying to be more outspoken. And man, I'm seeing this report that George Pickens was late to the Christmas game. I mean, that
was wild. Yeah.
All the DeForest Buckner talking about the guys in Indianapolis, missing treatment, and Mike McDaniel a couple weeks ago had the back and forth. It was like, listen, I mean, we're finding guys. It's clearly not working.
Right.
If we're not showing up, it's clearly not working. I don't know that this is like a drastic end all be all massive take of where sports is going in 2025 and beyond. It does appear, though, that we are starting to see, and I was hearing the guys on McAfee talk about this and listening to dudes that played in the league just short while ago, it appears we are starting to see a different type of athlete come into professional sports, especially into professional football. The ones that are now growing into in college sports, into the NIL era, having money in their pocket when they show up into the NFL. I heard Zabin Butch talking about it, making the joke about Javon Bullard, his $100,000 grill that he has, that he purchased after the season in his contract in the NFL. He's making a decent amount of money when he was at college as well, playing for University of Georgia, winning national titles. So like, we're seeing a different type of player, and I can't help but wonder if this is going to be Mike Vrabel's talking about it at his opening press conference, or off to the table fireside chat style when Matt LePay was chopping it up with Luke Fickell when he was hired, talking about the bad habits of players and like, yeah, there's things you can do to break them out of those molds. But it just appears that players are coming in with different motivating factors, much different, maybe people than we saw a couple of years prior, even 10, 15 years ago. And winning now is going to be a lot of maneuvering through and being able to manage who you're bringing into your football team and how they continue to attack getting better into professional football.
And how to motivate them, right?
When
it's hard to just motivate with money now. If guys come in with money now, it's going to be hard to, I guess it's just motivating those guys, because I think a lot of athletes, Billy, when they finally got to the pros, were finally making money. And that was the dream, is to make a living playing the sport. But I think that's when they started to feel like mercenaries more, right? Like, I'm playing for money. I'm playing for a job.
Mm-hmm.
But in college, even though before you're getting paid in college, you were playing with a scholarship, but you weren't getting paid. So maybe that feeling was, I'm playing for something bigger besides this. And maybe that mercenary mindset starts earlier, where guys are just happy to get paid, do their job, and go home, not necessarily be committed. No, I'm not sure. Maybe this is a little unfair, because I'm sure there are a lot of athletes that do the right thing.
Broad brush to paint over.
That do commit to winning.
Admittedly so. Very, very broad brush to paint.
But it's probably a boring story to hear about Xavier McKinney getting into work early, going through his routine early, having his peanut butter and jelly. Like, maybe that's more boring than hearing about, A.J. Brown reading on the sideline, or did so-and-so miss a meeting or miss a treatment or something like that. Guys being more committed. But the fact of the matter is that will still win games. I think that'll help you, give you an edge over teams that don't have guys doing committing the right
100%.
way. So if you can find a way to do that, that's the edge you can still have. If you don't feel like you have the talent, or you don't feel like you have maybe the capability of other teams, if I can find a way to motivate my guys to be more committed to the game and more committed to their craft, maybe that's an edge you can get as a coach.
It really can be. And this is one of those deals where I'm sitting back yesterday and I'm analyzing and trying to think of what you need, because you need plenty, right? Like in talking about it over the last couple of days, I do think that overall winning another playoff game and moving on would have been good, right? Those are good things for the success and the continued growth of the organization and the team. Man, I think shining a spotlight on the fact that you got a decent amount of holes still to fill, while core group being pretty explosive on offense. I mean, really explosive on offense at times.
Yeah.
And a defense that just put together one of the better defensive performances in the playoffs that we've seen in recent memory from a Green Bay Packers team. So like, it's not all bad, but you start chopping it down. Like, okay, Jair Alexander says he has nothing good to say. Gone. Right? Like, you're going to need to find somebody else to play on the outside at corner coming in next year. You're probably going to need one more legitimate edge rusher, not named, as much as I liked watching him play at the end of the year, not named Brenton Cox Jr. Right? Like, you're going to need somebody to be able to upgrade and consistently get after the quarterback at that spot. But everybody, understandably so, frustrated and done with the youngest team in football tag, youngest team in the NFL tag. I think they're still going to be in that vein, but maybe it is time for the youngest team in the NFL to really try to hone in and find the real vets in the room that can help some of these youngest players in football.
Which is tough because I think we weren't really hearing about this when they were winning games. We weren't thinking about this, and we don't think about it.
All of this gets silenced when you're winning games.
I mean, the article today on ESPN.com about how the Eagles players love Sirianni's weirdness. Well, that's easy to say. That's easy to say when you just won a game. You know, that story always changes based on the results. Right. It's like, you know, if the Eagles would have lost and self-destructed again, I'm sure the questions would have been different. The articles are framed different. The stories are framed differently. I think the first time I thought about this in terms of how to coach a changing generation and a changing player, Billy, it was in 18, 19, or 20 when Cliff Kingsbury's coaching the Arizona Cardinals, I believe.
Yeah.
And they talked about how he had breaks in meetings for social media. For players to get on social media and get their social media fix because these guys couldn't be off social media for a certain amount of time. And it was like bothering them. And it was so shocking to a lot of people, a lot of older generations. Those guys like, what do you mean? You're letting guys have breaks in meetings for a football team? When this is football. This is like, you got to be grinding. You got to be grinding
15 hours a day.
You wouldn't be caught dead doing something the coach didn't want you to do. Like the coach is the boss. He's the general. You're there to fight. It's like, you're going to let these guys get on their phones just so they can have a social media fix? Like they can't, but like that was the changing generation. And it was shocking to a lot of people. But I think at least at the time, the thought was, I got to learn how to relate or at least understand this generation so I can help coach them and motivate them better. Now, I'm not sure if it works or not. That's
and people are going to say different things about it working or not. I do know Cliff Kingsbury's teams were in the playoffs a couple of times, right? Yeah. Now, did they win anything? No.
But he's still coaching well. He might get more jobs.
Coaching well. Yeah. He is. It seems like he's going to get another job if he wants one after what he's done with Jaden Daniels. And like Pogo from Clinton, one way to break them out of those habits, cut them. Don't hire guys who are a-holes. But that sounds super easy, Pogo. Yeah, 1,000%. And I get where he's coming from.
Right.
But it is going to be more and more, and this is where I guess the genesis of the conversation comes from. It is going to be so much more difficult. And I think it is just continuing to incentivize how important it is to know who you're bringing into your program. To know, because it's going to be more and more difficult, I believe, to spot the holes.
It's a great point, Billy.
To spot the guys that are going to come into your building and not be about the right stuff. And it generally shows up. The old saying is it shows up when it shows up. It doesn't always show up on Sundays in the middle of week 14.
Yeah.
Sometimes it shows up in a divisional round game, right? Sometimes it shows up in the most important spots. And sometimes you can cover it up for a long time because winning does cover up a lot.
Right. Sometimes you know what it is. I mean, when Jair Alexander was healthy and playing well, nobody was really complaining about it. All you were, I mean, not really. People were looking at, maybe internally they were, but like, it was like, wow, Jair's great. We got a cornerback number one. He changes the game. He helps our defense, which is all true. And that's what's tough about what Pogo says. If you have a great, talented player,
yes,
someone's going to want him. I mean, this is the NFL. I mean, GMs are talent scouts, they're talent whores. They're looking for talent. They need, you're looking for great players. But if that player isn't 100% committed the other way, how do you balance that? You're not just going to like make.
And I know it sounds awesome. You can just cut guys.
Right. You're not going to make your roster worse on purpose, though.
No,
that's the other problem.
And it also becomes more and more increasingly difficult when there's guys on the football team making, I don't know, double what the head coach is making.
Right. How do you?
Right. Like so. Yeah. That is there is, and these are parts that have been going on for generations. Right. Like I mean, these are not the first athletes that are making more money than the coaches, right? That part of it has been a part of NFL football and pro sports for a long, long time. But being into the NFL, into pro sports with a bunch of cash, that is a little different. And that is becoming more and more difficult, I think, to fully understand how you're being able to mold and then bring in guys who are going to help those dudes. It seems to me, and Max Crosby was one of the parts of this conversation that fires it up and flares it up. That's a dude you want around young players, right? Like give or take that he has not won a playoff game. A guy that's been through those kind of trials and tribulations in his own personal life, succeeds.
But he's obsessed with football.
Obsessed with football and getting better.
And obsessed with being intense and being committed. You can just see that in
those. That seems like guys that you want around young players.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett also is a dude that I think a lot of people want around young players. Guy that's been around the team, been around winning defenses. Now I got laughed out of the Carry the G gym yesterday when Everyone's like, well, Max Crosby. Hold on. We're getting into a sweepstakes. Why don't we get the best defensive player in football?
But you know what's tough about this, Billy, is I think there are times when
we're going to have fun. Let's have some fun. Let's go get the best guy.
Well, yeah, no doubt. Well, Devontae, I've been talking about Devontae, bringing him back.
And is Devontae the right one? We think a lot.
So that's what's tough about this. I think it's hard to actually identify what those figures are. There's a time when people wouldn't have said that about Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. Well, Max has off the field prize he committed. Yeah. Myles Garrett, people have talked about
what
Myles
has this
Garrett.
guy done?
So that's what's tough about this is I think only when you're really in there coaching these guys, which guys are really about the right stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
More than what we see on the outside. And is Devontae the right one? I would always think that he is.
You would think he's the right one, but he's also now the guy that's gotten himself traded off of 2 teams in 3 years. So that maybe it's not the most when the going gets tough, the tough get going guy, or it's the tough when the tough gets when the going gets tough, they get out. There's something to it. And I think there's a lot of these organizations that are going to try to learn to do this on the fly. And the ones that are going to succeed over the next couple of years, it's going to be an incredible alignment with who you're bringing in, with your front office, with your coaching staff. And it's going to be identifying the right guys and the ones that are about the right stuff more than ever before.
And Tyson said it comes down to different generations. We see it today at the workplace. I think there are characteristics about generations, but I still think that's too broad a brush. I think there are people that are, in every generation that have different personalities. You know what I mean? I
went to school with a-holes.
Right. There are older guys, maybe your age, my age, my dad's age, that maybe didn't care as much about what they were doing at work. I don't know. And there are probably kids that are a young age that do care. It's not that simple. You can't just say, well, it's this generation and it's this one. But I think everybody is culturally motivated by different things, and everyone has a different worldview generally. But there's too much nuance to.
And this isn't a public education conversation or a private education conversation. This is the way the world is right now. This is the way that the young people are, and you're going to have to, in professional sports, be able to maneuver those waters. And it is going to be more and more intense and more interesting as we continue. All right, 877-794-1973. We'll get into a lot of the reaction because there is a bunch on the NickLayLaw.com talking text line on this. Also, Matt Schneidman caught up with Matt LaFleur. 3 pieces that we want to bring you. 1, Matt LaFleur tells you what he needs to get better at and what he needs to do better for Jordan Love to be better. We hear him say, I got to be better for him. He's going to tell you what he does need to be. And also, he really likes Edgerrin Cooper. I know a lot of Packer fans do as well. The head coach tells you how much he likes the new linebacker in Green Bay as well. Coming up on the other side before Matt Schneidman joins us in 20 minutes. It's no BS on the game. Before we take a quick timeout, nationwide keyword for this hour, put a grand in your hand contest is check. That's check. You have until 55 past the hour to go to 973thegame.com or 1070thegame.com. Enter the word check. That's check. To 973thegame.com, 1070thegame.com to enter the contest for this hour. And we're back right after this. Now throw your hands up in the sky. I go for mine. I got to shine. Now throw your hands up in the sky. Hey guys, Underdog Fantasy, the best place to have a pick'em game and be able to turn those hot sports takes you have into cold hard cash. How does that sound in 2025? Even better is when a player is going to go off. When a player is going to be ice cold, you can be like one of the 5 million happy players and join in on some of that $2 billion won on the Underdog Fantasy app. Their pick'em game is elite. You can win up to 1,000 times your money in a single night by simply choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats this playoff season, whether it's yards, touchdowns, interceptions in football, or you want to flip it over to basketball as well. Cook up some fire entries for your shot to win real cash prizes all year long. And with Underdog's double flex option, you can even take up to 2 L's and turn them into a W. Underdog's the best place to play pick'em. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code Billy, BILLY, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code Billy. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hello, this is John Kuhn for Hildebrand Law Firm. When I played, it was all about trust. Trust my teammates, trust myself, trust the process. And now, trust for my family's well-being is with Hildebrand Law Firm. Your family's financial security is vital. Hildebrand Law believes estate planning is for everyone. So don't put it off. I didn't. Kirsten Hildebrand and her expert team will show you how to protect your assets for you and your family. Visit Hildebrand Law today, your local estate planner. Your family deserves it. To learn more, visit them at hildebrandlawfirm.net. That's hildebrandlawfirm.net. You can trust Hildebrand Law. I do.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow famously said, "Into each person's life, some rain must fall." At Ryan Waterproofing, we tend to agree, as long as it's not in your basement. Free estimates, because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing. Call Ryan.com. That's call RION.com.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body?
Huh?
That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
This season, the Green Bay Packers and Network Health have partnered to honor active duty military members, veterans, and their families as part of the Operation Fan Mail campaign. Those honorees will receive 4 tickets to a future game and will be recognized on the field prior to kickoff. To submit a nomination, search Packers Operation Fan Mail or mail in an essay to P.O. Box 10628, Green Bay, Wisconsin, zip code 54307.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
An elegant, intimate experience in fine dining is right here at Ho-Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. The Copper Oak Steakhouse and Lounge features choice cuts of Angus beef and fresh seafood prepared to perfection over an open flame grill, complemented by an extensive selection of fine wines and signature martinis. A passion for detail in exceptional dining. The Copper Oak Steakhouse and Lounge at Ho-Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. Open Thursday through Sunday. Call and make your reservations today.
Menards is the one-stop shop for huge savings on new energy-efficient appliances. Upgrade your home today and save big on top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. We carry the largest in-stock selection of home appliances starting at the lowest prices and ready to take home today. Check out our entire selection of home appliances on Menards.com. Plus, view the weekly flyer for many other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
97.3 The Game.
I think he's got superstar potential. I really do. As long as he continues to work, which I know he will. I think Campanelli does a great job of kind of grinding those guys. I think it was a huge learning curve coming from Texas A&M to here. And you saw the more he played, the better he got and the more consistent he got. And I think it's going to be a great off season for him. I think he's planning on staying in town, and hopefully we can get him bigger, stronger, faster, and
riding his horses.
Yeah, and riding his horses.
Now, maybe not that one. We don't necessarily need to be riding horses all over the place. All due respect, iron horses,
Frosty, right?
Human horses, real horses. Let's just not do it.
No, I'm okay with it.
Mechanical bulls. Let's maybe just stay off of them.
If Edge knows what he's doing with these horses, I'm cool with it. Frosty, isn't that the name of the horse?
Frosty and Cinco. Yeah.
Oh, there's two?
Two horses. Yep.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about the guys that don't know what they're doing with animals, like Travis Jervey.
Oh, that's fair.
And LaShawn Johnson, when they've got the.
So you'd prefer him to have horses than be like, I don't know, picking up a part-time job at the Milwaukee County Zoo. If you want to be around animals.
I don't think he needs to be like, hosing down the elephants. Is that what you mean? The part-time job? Like,
I
don't think the zoologists are doing that. I think those are the guys, just the assistants that are hosing down
cleaning the cages and stuff.
Cleaning the cages.
They're working in there.
Or did you mean like, at the gift shop? Checking out.
No, I was thinking like you want to be
cashier,
around the animals.
running the
If
popcorn.
you have the animals. You want to be around them. You want to give off some of the life.
Dude, I just think this whole story with Edgerrin and the horses is kind of cool, because
it is
like
cool.
He knows what he's doing with them, and it seems like that's he gets the dog in him. That's how Edgerrin. He's
you
out
also
there
have to have a
working.
good mental escape, and it appears that he has quite a good mental escape to be able to do that. And I love hearing the coach talk about the superstar potential that I think we all watch.
Oh yes,
and all felt like we were seeing with Edgerrin.
And I think the superstar potential we feel we need. We need to have a diamond in the rough here in one of these guys. Not that he wasn't a late round pick or anything, but Edgerrin Cooper developing to that guy it's been a while, I think, since the Packers really had a special linebacker like that. Like, you know what I mean? At least that's the way I look at it. That we found in the draft, and
it feels like he can be higher than just high end.
Yeah, it would be great if that was that guy, because I think the way I've always looked at drafts is there are going to be great players in every round. Maybe more in the first round, maybe less in the second, less as you go on average. But a GM's job is to find the great players. I think you can find replacement players all across this league. You can find starters. That's nice to have.
Yeah.
But the goal is to find great players, and that's something the Packers have struggled to do generally in the first round now lately.
Now, that is the job of good general managers and good front offices, is to be able to find the good players wherever they are in the draft. Now, then it's the job of the coaches to be able to coach up those players. And Matt Schneidman caught up with Matt LaFleur. That's part of the Matt LaFleur podcast that you're going to hear in its entirety later on here tonight on the Matt LaFleur podcast with Matt Schneidman on the Matt Schneidman Show. And we also heard the head coach talk about he has to be better for Jordan Love. What does exactly the head coach mean by that? And how can you be better for the quarterback going into his third year?
When you say you need to be better for Jordan as a head coach, what exactly do you mean by that? What do you think? And I know you'll have much more time to reflect and take the deep dives in the offseason, but what do you need to do more for him as a coach to make sure we see a $220 million quarterback over more consistent stretches?
Yeah, I think for me, I think everybody has to be better, first of all, but I think you have to look inward before you can look anywhere else. And so, just making sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. And especially in these critical games and these critical moments, like everybody's got to be at their best. And when you're not, you're not going to perform the way you want to perform. A lot gets put on the quarterback, rightfully so. That just comes with the nature of the beast. But I think collectively everybody has to be a lot better around him. And that's why I always say I got to be better for everybody in order for that, expect them to be better.
And the bringing your own accountability into the equation is always going to be a part of it, right? So knowing that he has a talented young quarterback, it appears like there's a lot of different moments in time where Matt LaFleur's playing. And now Matt LaFleur played quarterback as well. So you do always see it through the prism as you remember the game very well. Not surprising. Listen, we all got to be better. There's moments in time where he's been trying to hold off on being a little more critical of everybody else around. It appears Matt LaFleur is okay with the way Jordan Love was playing towards the end of the year.
Well, no doubt. He's also very careful about sounding critical of him. It's just not what he wants to do. Whether or not he believes it deep down and won't reveal it. But you're right. He's more critical of everybody else than Jordan. He said Jordan's doing these great things, and we've got to be better for him. Interesting, because he knows more than us about that, right?
And he sees on a day in, day out basis. He designs the plays that are supposed to be run out there. So like he would know if certain details are not being up to snuff. And maybe that's a part of the offseason conversation and the guys that are going to be brought in here. Interesting stuff. We're going to have more of that conversation coming up with Matt Schneidman on the other side after a Doug Russell update right here. It's No BS with Billy and Sorry, and hour 2 is next with Matt Schneidman and the voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrivee. That comes up at 10:30 right here on The Game.
Coming up Wednesday, the Mike Heller Show goes noon to 3 on The Game. We always visit with Jim Polzine on Wednesdays. He'll react to the end of the Packers season, but so will Pete Doherty of the Green Bay Press-Gazette, PackersNews.com. The Mike Heller Show, Wednesday, noon to 3 on The Game.
Always still look at myself as a high-performing athlete, even at 40 years old. And so I want to go able to run and run fast and do things that I could 15 and 20 years ago. And it was getting to the point where the pain was starting to limit that.
Pain attacks people from all walks of life, not just former professional athletes like Bobby Carpenter. That's where QC Kinetics non-surgical treatment steps in.
And now that the pain is gone, I've been able to go and do the stuff that I love and run fast and run sprints and try to get back to where I was.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments use your body's own healing properties to deliver long-term relief without surgery.
Now, being able to go and work out and do the stuff that I want to do and challenge my body, it's made me a better person, a more pleasant person to be around.
Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Hi, it's Jason from Capital Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. And I've never told you why Capital does same-day repair 7 days a week. Years ago, in the dead of winter, the heat failed in an apartment building I was responsible for. So I called a big local heating company who promised to help, but never showed up. After a million calls, I mustered the know-how and fixed it myself. That's when I decided Milwaukee deserves a company that cares. And that's why we offer same-day repair 7 days a week. Visit callcapitalcares.com because Capital cares.
88 unread emails? Okay. New credit card? Delete. Congratulations, you've just won. Goodbye. COVID-19 news and delete. Wait, learn about treatment options for COVID-19. Know and go. Okay, kind of catchy. Know that oral prescription treatment options are available for COVID-19 if you're at high risk. And go see your doctor if you experience symptoms or test positive. And forwarding that to mom.
Talk to your pharmacist or doctor if you or a loved one gets COVID-19. Know and go. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Old Spice Swagger Body Wash will make you the MVP of freshness and confidence. With its irresistible scent, it will transform your shower experience, leaving you feeling fresh on and off the field. Pair it with Old Spice Swagger Deodorant, the #1 aluminum-free brand that keeps you feeling like a Super Bowl champion 24/7 when used daily. But don't wait. This dynamic duo is available at Costco for a limited time only. Old Spice, official deodorant partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59, where freshness meets football greatness.
I'm Ryan Harrison, owner of Ryan Waterproofing, your best choice for restoring your home or commercial foundation and walls. Seal cracks, repair walls, installing new drain tile or sump. Ryan utilizes higher quality materials and process for permanent restoration. High-powered HEPA filters keep your home from filling with dust. You'll recognize your project coordinator and every person on your property as good, hardworking people. Value pricing, free estimates, because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing. Call Ryan.com. That's call RION.com.
KB here for Pep's Legit Tavern Style Pizza. Are you legit? If you're craving the taste of your favorite childhood pizza, make it Pep's Legit. Pep's Legit pizzas are created from tried and true family recipes. Pick up a Pep's Legit pizza near you for the authentic at-home pizza parlor experience. Be legit.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh,
You okay?
your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 12th and get your application fee waived. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 degrees and certificates in in-demand fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills and credentials you need to achieve your career goals. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Lowe's knows how to help make your Super Bowl 59 party a touchdown. Let us help you prep your home to host with top brands like Charbroil, Blackstone, and LG, so you can be the MVP of game day. Plus, use the Lowe's app to find what you need for a seamless shopping run. Or huddle up with our Lowe's Red Vest associates to help make all your game time hosting decisions.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a Honey Buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Broadcasting from the all-new Iron Jock Studios, built by Reamer Remodel.
Turn it up!
This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee, 97.3 The Game. There is no BS with Screamin' Sicilian Premium Craft Roast.
Again, you are listening to the wrong station.
All the screaming is about.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Doug Russell.
Let's start in the NBA. The Bucks get another triple-double from Giannis. They beat the Kings. They were riding a heater, 130-115 ever since they made the coaching change. Giannis, 33 points, 11 boards, 13 assists. Damian Lillard, 24 points. He also threw down 7 dimes.
When him and Dame are high in assists, I mean, 20 between them. I mean, we're so much better when that happens compared to when they have 1 or 2. And you can win that night every once in a while. One of them would have to be spectacular. Right. But this is an easier way to play basketball.
Bucks coach Dr. Glenn Rivers, MD.
Try arguing with that. They're a lot better when they have a bunch of assists than 1 or 2. Try arguing with that.
I think you're also better when you have somebody who's a plus 30 in the plus minus category, as Giannis was last night with that 33-point triple double.
You know, you could have got a lot more in the parlay with that, Billy.
His 50th triple double, by the way.
It's true. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just saying.
It's true. Or, I mean, we could have won if we would have just went with the one other option that we talked about during this segment. Sorry, Doug.
That's okay. Coming up tonight, you get a chance to win it back. They've got Orlando coming into town. Every game, it's not a game, it's an opportunity.
It is an opportunity. And you know what? It's an opportunity to get better. And we're going to better ourselves by finally winning
there you go.
On Billy's parlay of the day.
Love it. College hoops, the number 24 Badgers. They were cruising through the first half of their game against Ohio State last night.
Yeah.
Then they hung on for dear life as their 17-point halftime lead whittled down to just 1.
Blackwell, free throw. It will go in. It's 70-68. Wisconsin. And now Mahaffey with crowd on his face. Mahaffey roaming right, throws a three-quarter court. Royal, he stepped on the sideline, out of bounds to Wisconsin with a half-second left.
Whoops.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Wisconsin hangs on 70-68. The number 24 Badgers hanging on against Ohio State.
He got nervous. I think he got nervous. I'm not that. I just hear it in Butchie's voice. You're up 17.5. You think you're going to coast home. You know, that wasn't.
No.
Yeah, but you can tell when Butchie starts getting a little nervous because there do become a couple of voice cracking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Every once in a while, my man's going through puberty.
And he's not trying to like raise an octave. That's when you know the nervous energy's rolling.
But he does a great job. Sometimes we're used to like sports radio talk push.
Oh, sure.
But
Yes.
he's so good on those.
He's so good.
And
He's
it's
so
even
good on
more
the
fun when
analysis.
Matt LePay, who's going to join us coming up tomorrow, knows that Ryan's nervous.
Yeah.
He's hitting
Just
him.
nudges him a little bit.
They have something good going.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Greg Gard won his 200th game last night as Bachelor's coach as well. So good coach. Wisconsin next in action Saturday afternoon at USC. All right, Armin, you've been waiting for this one, I'm sure. In Chicago, overtime against DePaul. How nervous were you? Speaking of Butchie getting nervous, what about Armin?
No, it was the same type of situation. There was a ball out of bounds. There were reviews. It was a terrible sweat last night. I'm glad the Marquette Golden Eagles won, and that's over. And I just wanted to know when the bus was home and we were out of there. That's all that mattered. You know what I mean?
If you're wanting to know how it was going for Armin Sarian last night, bleeping the ball. I hate this game every year. This is so brutal. Cam can't hit a three. I blame these jerseys.
Yeah. Which they look beautiful, but those players, we wore those at Dayton, I think. Dayton had a terrible game.
When you start playing with the jerseys, you know.
Yeah.
That you know that
Watching a big Marquette game with Armin is, I think everyone should be able to experience that once in their life.
An elite experience. I'm excited for the Providence game that we might be.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Well, hopefully we dump truck them like we did on the road, but I'm not even thinking about that game yet.
Listen, give DePaul all the credit in the world. They gave Marquette everything they have out on the floor. The final score in overtime, 85-83 for Shaka.
We struggled shooting the ball in the second half, and then I think we were 1 for 13 from three. Cam Jones was able to jump up and make a three up or down 4 points, and then Chase Ross followed that up, making a three. So timely shooting for us. We got a lot of improving to do.
Marquette plays host to Xavier on Saturday.
And hopefully the other good thing that comes from it, they got a good look at a zone defense for a long time. And that looks like something people are going to try and do to them now. So they're going to be able to work on that and work on getting better against the zone before it's too late.
It's been a crazy year in college basketball. Two more big upsets last night. Number 5, Florida, they lose at home to Missouri, 83-82. Number 4, Alabama, they lose at home to Ole Miss, 74-64. So nobody's safe in college basketball.
Todd Golden keeps talking victories, and sometimes that happens.
And finally, coming up tonight, here on the game, looking forward to the Matt LePay's coming up tomorrow. The Matt LaFleur podcast.
Can't wait. We got Matt next year, so I'm really excited.
Oh, Matt LePay's coming up next now
Matt
too.
Schneider.
Oh, Matt Schneider's coming up next. All right.
I don't know if we thought that it was the Todd Golden. He's just talking victories, and sometimes you don't get them.
Oh, you're a bad person.
You have to Google that.
You
storyline.
gotta Google the story, and it's something else. Student journalism is alive.
Okay.
Student
I will look forward to that, and you'll look forward to talking to Matt Schneiderman. Coming up next, we had a chance. Well, I was in the room. Matt did the interview, but we had a chance to sit down and talk to the coach yesterday. So he'll have some insights on that coming up.
No doubt. We heard a couple clips of it just before. Very excited to hear his take on how the conversation went, the mood of the coach. He seemed a little more jovial than yesterday, than relaxed, a little bit looser than usually you do. The season's over, so that'll happen. But some good insights. I'm excited to hear from Matt.
Just some. Here's one little off the air, behind the scenes tidbit. Pleasant greeting when I came in. Hey, Matt, how you doing? How the you think I'm doing?
Good. That's the
so
answer.
it's still the loss still stings. We'll put it that way.
Good, as it should. Dougie, appreciate it.
All right,
We'll
thanks,
see you in an
guys.
hour. That is Doug Russell, Love Muscle, hanging out with us here from the update desk. And as he mentioned, that conversation that our friend Matt Schneiderman was able to have with head coach Matt LaFleur yesterday, you're going to hear in its entirety coming up here tonight. We heard a couple parts of it just before here about how to be able to help Jordan Love and how you can do more for him. Matt, first off, what did you take from the nearly 45 minutes that we were able to play in its entirety yesterday, Matt, at the podium, to then when you got into the interview set with him? You've now covered him as this season has ended for almost his entirety of his coaching tenure here in Green Bay. How did you judge this end of season Matt LaFleur in comparison to others and just his mood and openness? Because it felt like it was very forthcoming at the podium yesterday.
Yeah, this is kind of what happens every year. Is the end of season press conference goes really long, 35, 45 minutes, and he's more relaxed and reflective and still stung by the loss, I think. And, I'd have a hard time placing it among other years with regards to where his mood was or level of frustration. But, it didn't strike me as any different than any other year. But obviously, I think my biggest takeaway from it was that Tom Clements is retiring. I'm sure you guys have talked about that, but they're going to have to find another quarterback coach for Jordan Love to help him take that next step and fix some of his footwork and technique and hone in on that stuff in practice. So there are a couple good internal candidates, but as I asked LaFleur on the podcast, he says they'll go through the process, look outside the building too.
Okay, so that part of it, looking outside the building, and because just on when we were listening to it here on the post or on the press conference, my man had a little smirk. It felt like they might be cooking something up, or he has some ideas of who he could potentially bring in. In your estimation, is it better for Jordan's development to have somebody that's been in-house, or to get a new fresh set of eyes on him and somebody new to be able to work with the quarterback?
Yeah, you could go either way. Just the way they do things around here, it seems like, this is just my gut, that they go in-house with probably Connor Lewis, who is their assistant quarterbacks coach, who's been LaFleur's kind of game management specialist. LaFleur's game management specialist, maybe
we need somebody new for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I wonder how many times, Connor Lewis gives LaFleur a recommendation or whatever, and LaFleur just does his own thing. But that's a discussion for another time. I think it'll probably be him, but Dan Orlovsky applied for the position via a tweet yesterday, basically said, I'd be honored to have that position. And I texted LaFleur asking if essentially Dan Orlovsky would be in consideration, and he hasn't responded yet. So
hey,
I didn't ask that exactly. I just mentioned the tweet.
Sounds like
he would give me something.
Did you have a read receipt on that? Maybe he'll text back. He might be in the
No, he often does text me back if I do have something to text him. So maybe it means something's cooking. Who knows?
Right. He probably can't reveal. Did you find it interesting, speaking of, diving into the game management and the game analysis? He seemed really into the idea of how statistical analyses, or people that do this type of things, analyze the play action and analyze the game. He says he's going to spend a lot of time this offseason investigating.
He's not. That's his way of insulting people
Okay.
who give those stats, being like, what are you talking about? Or maybe it's just more of a question rather than an insult. But
okay. Well, because he seems clearly interested in it, though.
I don't think he's genuinely interested in it. No.
That's why I asked.
It was more of a backhanded, where do you get your stats from? Because look, there are different ways to get stats, and I don't think they're third in play action usage. True Media says they're 12th in play action drop back usage this season. I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a second.
Let's hear it.
One of my pet peeves is when people on Twitter, and I'm not going to name names, in the Packers Twitter universe, watch the game from their couch, or just look up a number on one of these sites that I normally reference and tweet from afar a stat or a narrative and just an overarching thought, and then it catches on like wildfire among the fan base. I saw a tweet about, whether it's under center play action or just play action usage in general. And I tweet out that I'm sitting down with Matt LaFleur for the podcast, and everyone ask him about play action. Why'd they get away from play action? They did no play action. But it's so easy, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn with this, but so many of these conversations and debates require context. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but they require talking to players and talking to coaches, and that's why I find a lot of value in what I hope I bring to this station and my writing is I'm not just sitting on my couch tweeting out observations and stats without context. I go into the locker room. I ask players for what happened on certain plays. I ask the coaches, or we ask the coaches, about what happens, and it provides a more accurate representation of why things are happening within the team. So it's easy to sit on your couch, not ever step foot in a locker room or a press conference and say, what the hell is LaFleur doing? He's getting away from play action. But then go into the press conference and hear him talk about how they were so much more efficient out of shotgun in the running game. So that's why they ran a lot more play action out of shotgun rather than under center, because it's easier to sell the run out of shotgun when you're having more success with it. And then also maybe think critically and say, okay, well, if they're not running under center, long developing play action, it's probably not, and John Kuhn mentioned this on our podcast yesterday, that's out now. It's probably not because LaFleur just forgets or doesn't want to. It's probably because he doesn't trust his offensive line or his tight end to block for that long.
That would be
and he
correct.
doesn't want to get his quarterback killed. Obviously, that hard sell under center play action can be effective. but you don't just go away from it to go away from it. And I'm not defending Matt LaFleur. I think he needs to be much better. But at the same time, let's think critically here. Let's not just throw stuff out. I'm not saying people are hoping for engagement, but let's think a little critically. For example, and this is the last thing I'll say, Jordan Love needs to be better on that second interception. There have been multiple times this season where he said, I was just fooled by that guy, didn't see him dropping. He needs to be better. But as Matt LaFleur said yesterday, Malik Heath needs to run that route at 20 yards instead of 15 yards.
Deeper, yeah.
But it's so easy to sit from your couch and say, Jordan Love sucks. This stinks. And yes, he needs to be better. But go into a press conference, ask a head coach what goes into every play. And they're not always going to give you who deserves the most blame. That's not what their job is. To accurately assess praise and blame for all these plays, you need to hook them all up to a lie detector and go through every play. But context is so important.
Well, Matt, that's why Matt Schneidman of The Athletic and theathletic.com, as well as the Matt Schneidman Show, Matt, that's why we are being coined as the Packers politically correct police. No, just the ones that want to have a little bit of understanding and context around it. And then also, you mentioned it with the quarterback. The one that we got a lot yesterday is this guy doesn't even care. I mean, like, he's never even looking at the iPad. I mean, he's never talking to anybody. Like, does he even care when he's throwing an interception like that? The vocal leadership, many people immediately go right to Jordan, and it was referenced to Jordan in one of the questions. To me, it felt like it's a whole locker room deal. Now, obviously, the quarterback is going to be a part of it. I know you watch a little bit of the McAfee Show. I watch it quite often. They had a long conversation yesterday. This stuff's going around the NFL, right? Like more and more
long
teams.
Conversation about Jordan specifically?
No, about players around the NFL and different leadership qualities. They've referenced the Tucker Kraft quote. They talked about George Pickens not showing up for meetings and like being able to identify who players are in their specific molds. Everybody wants somebody to be maybe somebody they're not. You have the better understanding as to who Jordan is. You're around him on those Wednesday interactions. You cover the team as well and around as much as anybody has been. Do you think that there's a vocal lack to Jordan's game, the lack of leadership quality that side, or is that more of just being very, very henpicked after what is very rightfully so probably his worst game as an NFL player?
Well, Matt LaFleur said at the podium yesterday that the next step for Jordan is to become more of a vocal leader. So I think he wants that. And I can't accurately say what exactly Jordan is outside of his interactions with us because I'm not in there in team meetings and behind closed doors. And I'm sure he speaks up and has taken more of a leadership role. But what we know is the head coach is publicly asking him basically to be more of a vocal leader. Is that a problem that he's not? I wouldn't say that. Everyone has their own leadership styles, I would say, but you probably want your quarterback to be a vocal leader of the team. It's clearly what LaFleur wants. Was that a detriment to the team this year? Who knows? Yeah. I can't sit here and say that it was, but yeah, him not caring about interceptions, that's an interesting one.
Well, he also
he doesn't care.
Also said guys have to be true to themselves too, which I think is a big one. And whether or not that's part of Jordan's normal MO, we don't know. Do you think leadership was a void though? I mean, this was something I don't think any of us really considered or thought about until Tucker Kraft made some comments. I got the whole Josh Jacobs sense of, hey, guys can follow me. I'm ready to go here. Like, what do you think there need to be more leadership in the locker room? Too young of a team? I don't know.
No, and I mean, LaFleur was asked yesterday if they need more veterans, and he said no. Now, do they need better leadership? I don't know. You know, Keyshawn Nixon implied the other day that some young guys aren't willing to be brought along like that. And I didn't take Tucker Kraft's comments like John Kuhn did and like it seems you guys did when he says, you know, people need to wake up. I thought he was just speaking generally like this loss was brewing. People need to wake up. I didn't think he was making a direct commentary on people were slacking in the weeks leading up to this game. Or I thought it was just, you know, looking back on the season, this loss isn't a surprise because we shot ourselves in the foot like we did against great teams, you know, most of the season. So I don't know if he was specifically referencing teammates like John thinks he was, but do they need better leadership? I don't know. You know, LaFleur said that he goes to a handful of guys in the locker room to try and get the pulse of the locker room. It's basically the leaders of the locker room. So I asked him on the podcast tonight who those people are, and he listed off like 8 guys. And I think they have leaders in that locker room. The quarterback, Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, Kenny Clark, Josh Myers, Elton Jenkins. It's always difficult to really judge who are the most vocal leaders because sometimes guys just don't want to talk in front of cameras. And, they're probably more vocal behind closed doors. But do they have a leadership problem? That's impossible for me to say.
Well, in the genesis of our conversation last hour was, and kind of off of what we were talking about with the McAfee deal and what Keyshawn Nixon kind of said to you of, some of these young players don't necessarily want to be brought up that way or haven't been brought up in a certain way, don't necessarily lean on certain vets. It does appear, and again, this is painting with a very broad brush of all young players coming into the National Football League, and I don't believe that's the case. However, there is a level of when you are the potential breadwinner of your family at like 16, 17 years old, the amount of money that is being brought in for a lot of guys that in 18, 19, 20 years old, once they're getting into college and making real cash, then going into the NFL, that it can be difficult to check them in certain spots, right? To be able to say, hey man, you're now a professional, but you got to be a pro. You got to know how to be able to handle this on the day in and day out, where being able to identify the guys that are going to seemingly like Edrin Cooper, who the head coach talked about yesterday with you as superstar potential, being able to identify the guys that are about the right stuff. It's always been a factor and it's always been a big part of this game. Man, it feels like it's going to be exponentially more important over the next number of years.
Yeah. And that's the challenge for any team in the NFL is, hoping that guys still love football after they get paid. And, all these guys work. I'm not trying to attack the motivations of players, but maybe some guys are just grinding all these years for that big payday. And then maybe once that first direct deposit hits on that $20 million contract extension, they check out. But look, that's part of a GM's job is to find the right people for that locker room. And I'm not saying good guys like character. I'm talking about guys who are willing to grind every single day.
Yes.
And a guy like Christian Watson, who's going to come in and be a model teammate and block his ass off even when he's not getting the ball thrown at him. A guy like Xavier McKinney, who's going to come in early every day and be the only defensive player meeting with coaches and bring that group along enough that Carrington Valentine is saying he's he is the glue to our room. And Evan Williams saying he's the face of our defense. You can tell when guys really have respect in that locker room. And I think Jordan Love does. If you listen to what Tucker Kraft said about him on Locker Cleanout Day, it's just, do the Packers have enough of those guys is the question.
And I get the sense that Josh Jacobs wants to be that guy for the offense as well.
And I think he is. I think he is.
And I think it's impressive that Goody got both of those guys in free agency. These weren't legacy Packers. These guys that walked in on free agent deals that all of a sudden commanded their side of the room, that became leadership. So I wonder if Goody can do that again in this offseason with new guys. Do you expect him to go and dig deep and try and get some guys?
He's got to get at least one. I mean, they have right now $51 million in cap space. When they cut or trade Jair Alexander, that'll open up another $7 million. So they'll have, there are ways to open up cap space as all teams do. But if you have this much money, you got to make a splash. Now, what position that's at, I'm not sure. I haven't taken a dive into the free agent classes at every position yet, but corner, wide receiver, edge rusher are easily this team's three most important needs. Maybe interior offensive line. Maybe they need a right guard or a center so that they can block a guy like Jalen Carter and not have their offensive line crumble in a game like Sunday's.
Yeah, and then having Elton Jenkins be able to play all four quarters is going to be a big part of it. That helps too. You mentioned that interior of the offensive line. Final one for you. You mentioned him as one of the leaders of the locker room. Aaron Nagler and I had a good conversation about him yesterday.
No, he's not going to be back.
Josh Myers is going to make himself a nice, comfortable living somewhere else, huh?
I'd imagine so. I'd imagine it's similar to the John Runyon Jr. deal last year where they want him back, but at a low price. And he's going to test the market, I'd imagine. Thankfully for Josh, who's an all-around good guy, one of the heartbeats of that locker room, won the Ed Block Courage Award as voted on by his teammates. So he's a guy that has the respect of that locker room more than anybody else. In part because of what he went through, losing his dad to cancer in training camp and then, not really missing a beat. I would imagine they let him test the market. And what I was saying was, thankfully for his sake, the injuries doesn't seem as bad as it looks. But yeah, I think they'll let him test the market. And these guys always get I don't want to say more than they deserve, but more than the Packers are willing to pay, I think.
Well, and more than you would think. All due respect to him and his family, I did not think John Runyon was going to get 3 years, $30 million last year.
Exactly.
So I would anticipate Josh Myers gets a nice bag, much more than certain people on Twitter would like to think, because he's a really good football player. And I know that people don't believe so because PFF didn't like him last year.
That's right.
He's a pretty dang good football player and really, really good dude. So I'm excited to see what he ends up getting. Matt, great work. We are going to talk to you again tomorrow. Now, you are going to have a conversation with the general manager tomorrow. You guys are going to have that conversation at noon. We'll discuss a couple of things that we're going to strategically place in there for you to ask. And, you're going to ask the tough questions, Matt, because that's what you do. That's what you do. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys.
That's Matt Schneidman of The Athletic and the Matt Schneidman Show.
A lot of that was interesting, actually. What he felt about how Coach looked at the play action discussion, how he looked at the things in the locker room. So a lot of good stuff.
Really good stuff there. We usually don't go interview to interview, but when the voice of the Green Bay Packers
we're making the exception
is going to pop on.
Yeah.
In between shoot around.
Dude, he's amazing.
We're gonna have the conversation. Our guy Wayne Larrivee is on the other side. Voice of the Green Bay Packers joins Armin Sarian, Billy Schmid, Dave Gasper produces the program. It's No BS right here on The Game.
I'm one of the greatest, ain't no debating on it. I'm still levitated.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Matt Schneidman from the Matt Schneidman Show. This season, I'll be talking with Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. We'll discuss all of the big topics surrounding the team in our one-on-one interview and give you access to the coach that you won't find anywhere else. Evaluate the job Jeff Hafley has done with his defense just throughout the course of the season.
The mark of a good coach to me is, can you keep evolving and are your players improving? And I think that's what we're seeing.
It's the Matt LaFleur podcast. Who has the most unique presentations?
All Campanelli, and sure enough, he's always going to finish with some epic boxing match, and you're going to feel his personality, and he brings a lot of juice to the meeting. Matter of fact, I think our guys can go out and play right after.
So make sure to check back frequently and subscribe to the all-new Matt LaFleur podcast. Make sure to follow me on all socials for updates at Matt Schneidman. Follow The Game on Twitter at The Game MKE and on Instagram at 97.3 The Game.
This is your year to visit Canada.
Make this your year to visit Canada. The All Canada Show is the largest gathering of Canadian fishing and hunting lodges in the U.S. Meet the lodge owners, see great seminars, and enjoy an ice-cold Labatt Blue. We're giving away a fantastic Canadian fishing trip. Kids get in free, and everyone gets a free Daredevil lure on opening night, January 17th through the 19th at the Brookfield Conference Center. Free parking. Details and discounted tickets at allcanada.com.
The All Canada Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the best place to cash in on all your sports stakes during the playoffs. Hey, it's Billy Schmid. With over 5 million happy players and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all your favorite players' performances this playoff season. With their pick'em game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money by simply choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats. Whether it's touchdowns, interceptions, yards, receptions, they have all your options to cook up fire entries for a shot to win real cash prizes all playoffs long. Create entries of all football picks or mix and match across your favorite sports. Underdog also is the only pick'em platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. Now you can keep riding with your entry or tap that win now button to cash out whenever you want. And with Underdog's double flex option, you can take 2 L's and turn it into a W. Underdog is the best place to play pick'em. Download the app, sign up with promo code Billy, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code Billy. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Hi, it's Jason from Capital Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and I've never told you why Capital does same-day repair 7 days a week. Years ago, in the dead of winter, the heat failed in an apartment building I was responsible for, so I called a big local heating company who promised to help, but never showed up. After a million calls, I mustered the know-how and fixed it myself. That's when I decided Milwaukee deserves a company that cares. And that's why we offer same-day repair 7 days a week. Visit callcapitalcares.com because Capital cares.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Never drive drunk.
If you do, don't believe police officers who tell you it's just a ticket and a 6-month suspension. Pay it and put this behind you. You'll likely have to install an ignition interlock device to blow into before starting your car. Protects the public and shames you with your friends and family. Your license will be revoked. You can go to jail for 1 year if caught driving revoked. Even if you swear you did never drive revoked, most people do. With a to and from work permit, one snowstorm, long meeting, or traffic jam, and you're driving revoked. An officer runs your plate while driving, and you're in even more serious trouble. You'll participate in alcohol and drug assessments, a driver's safety plan, and alcohol classes. You could even lose your job. Prosecutors will tenaciously prosecute you without empathy, regardless of your clean driving record. Your first DUI conviction never disappears from your record. Just a ticket and 6-month suspension, and a Scarlet A for life. Charged with an OWI, your best chance is to call my team of award-winning former state prosecutors. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you.
All of you.
Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's just like my car radio on my phone.
Adding presets is so much fun.
Join the millions already on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
Seeing lyrics in the app is incredible.
It's so easy to use.
Nice job, iHeart.
Find out what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
97.3 The Game.
No BS with Billy and Sarian hanging out with you. Time to give you an opportunity to put $1,000 in your hand. The nationwide keyword for this hour to put $1,000 in your hand contest is grand. How about that? Grand. You have until 55 past the hour to go to 973thegame.com or 1070thegame.com. Enter the word grand, G-R-A-N-D. That's grand to 973thegame.com or 1070thegame.com. Enter the contest for this hour. Armin Sarian's right there. I'm Billy Schmidt. We're broadcasting you live inside the all-new Iron Jack Studios, built by Reamer Remodel, and now joined by Wayne Larrivee, presented by Steamfitters Local 601. Learn more by visiting steam601.org and National Fire Sprinklers Association. Visit them at nfsa.org. Wayne Larrivee joins us from one of my least favorite states in the entire country, in the entire union, the state of Iowa. However, Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Green Bay Packers, is going to be the voice of an elite college hoops game coming up here tonight. Kansas against Iowa State. Wayne, this is a big, big game. Makes sense why they bring in one of the best in the business for it. Are we fired up for tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, number 2 against number 9. The Big 12 is loaded this year.
Yep.
And these are 2 of the better teams in the Big 12. And, it should be a fun ball game.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a loud din, or is that the right term, at Hilton Coliseum? So that's always always a tough place to play. Their only loss was to Auburn, who's one of the top teams in America, too. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Well, and let's also say Iowa State might be the adopted Big 12 team of Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, with TJ
Otzelberger being the head coach. So that's a fun outfit that you got right there in Ames, Iowa here tonight, Wayne.
I just got done talking with TJ. I didn't realize he was a Milwaukee native, but he and Nate Oates, the coach at Alabama, they were a Final Four team last year. Nate is from Watertown, Wisconsin. So, I tell you what, Wisconsin contributing on the major levels of basketball today.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Listen, contributing on the major level of college basketball, we're going to try to in the Billy's parlay of the day, because Pro Hoops didn't help us all out last night, Wayne. So we're going to make some money back later on here tonight, and you might just be a part of that focal point and our attention to it. But our attention still on the Green Bay Packers after that 22-10 L in Philadelphia. Listening to head coach Matt LaFleur yesterday, hearing him and parts of the conversation that he had with Matt Schneidman, our own guy that's going to debut all of it tonight. The overarching conversation that a lot of people are still trying to have is where and how you feel about the quarterback. And Wayne, there's a lot of different ways this sport is always going to be about the guys that are the signal callers. They make the most money. They have the most conversation about them. Do you think rightfully so the main conversation after that game is about Jordan Love?
Well, I think it's a collective, as Matt said, and I felt this way too. Let's go back to last year. When Jordan Love started playing better, the people around him played better, specifically the wide receivers. And, that's the thing this year. Jordan had such a start and stop kind of year due to injuries early on, then got healthy. And then, down the stretch, maybe not quite as sharp as we saw him in that 8-game stretch, his first year as a starter down the stretch. But, I think if the guys around him are better, in other words, that receiving core, which depending, and this is a metric that is very much interpretive, drop passes. The Packers are in the top 10, maybe the top 5 in some cases in terms of whoever's ranking them in drop passes. And that's the type of thing that plagued them a lot throughout the year. And I think that's something that, if that group plays a little better, I think the quarterback's playing better.
Wayne, I think there was also some interesting comments talking about how he wanted to see Jordan become a more vocal leader at points. Tucker Kraft kind of made some comments about leadership. Do you get the sense there was a sort of a leadership void in the Packers locker room this year? It wasn't something we had really thought about or I think heard much about until this last week or so, that maybe there was a lot of young players, not a lot of veterans. Do you think the Packers need to find some more veterans, or was there a leadership void that needs to be addressed amongst the players?
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I hadn't heard that. I did not feel that throughout the season. I felt there were a lot of young leaders on that team. And then I feel, you bring in a guy like Xavier McKinney. Josh Jacobs is kind of a quiet guy, but he's a leader in his own way. Kenny Clark's an established veteran on that team. Again, my impression of him as a leader, and I don't know for sure, Armin, because I'm not in the locker room with them when they have those moments. But, Kenny Clark is a kind of a leader, but to me, seems more like a quiet guy. So I maybe Tucker Kraft is going to emerge as that, kick-ass kind of vocal guy. And maybe they need a little bit of that. I don't know. But I thought they had leadership, good leadership, but maybe it wasn't the kind of vocal leadership that we've seen in the past.
Now, Wayne, I've been called the apology network here for the Green Bay Packers. Now, my patented positivity is always going to be a part of the radio show. And around this Green Bay Packers team, I can't help but find a lot of positives going into next year. Now, would winning a playoff game in consecutive years be a boost to morale and vibes going into next year? Absolutely so. Like, it's a good thing for the organization. Seeing some warts and some holes in the foundation and on the roster, I also think can be a plus, and you get a flashlight really shined on it like in an interrogation room when you lose in that fashion. Do you feel similar that there can be some good that comes out of this? Because they're not super far away. They had a lot of internal improvement from their own individual players, but they still have some spots where they can clearly get better to get to the next level.
Billy, I'm not surprised where they are. I thought they got better as a group. I thought Jordan Love, I think he's a better quarterback in general. But I understood the second year of this process wasn't going to be quite the meteoric rise we saw in the first year, where the team just surprised everybody, completely surprised everybody. And I might add, and I can't speak for them, but my impression is they surprised the football people at 1265 Lombardi. Okay. That was last year. I knew this year this team would get better, but it might not be that kind of meteoric improvement. You know what I mean? And I really believe, and I've told you this, and I still believe this. This is a process they're going through. And I think next year you're going to see a very good roster. Now, will it play as well? Will it have luck with injuries? Will the bounce of the ball go their way? I don't know. But I do know this going into next year. I'll be shocked if you and I aren't sitting there saying, boy, this is a much better. This is the best roster they've had in this iteration of the team since they cut ties with Aaron Rodgers and that group.
Yeah, good point. And Wayne, I think a lot of what we look at is in the context of the division, which was a very, historically good division this year. Do you expect it to be that good again? Obviously, the Lions, I think we all believe that. The Vikings had 14 wins this year. There's a lot of question marks there. The Bears. Will this division shake out to be as tough from top to bottom as it is next year? Will we be looking at a third place 11-win team again, the Packers?
Boy, it's hard to say in that regard, Armin, that the division will be as good record-wise as it is this year, but the division is going to be good because those teams aren't going anywhere. I mean, Kevin O'Connell and his staff, they're not going anywhere unless Flores gets a head coaching job. I'm sure he's going to be picky about that because he's got a good gig in Minnesota and a good defense. Chicago will get better. It can't help but get better. They have a much better roster than their record indicated this year. It just didn't go well for a number of reasons. And then you've got Detroit. And I know they're probably going to lose the two coordinators. Will there be a little bit of a drop-off? Maybe, but they have talent. And by the way, when they get healthy next year, if they didn't have the injuries, the catastrophic injuries they've had on defense, we might be talking about them as as one of those great teams in the all-time context.
Yeah.
Because I still think they're going to win it, and they're going to win it with all these people out. And I just, to me, that's very impressive. Those people will be back next year. We saw that from 2010 to 2011 in Green Bay. The Packers went 15-1 that following year. Unfortunately, they didn't win a playoff game. But nonetheless, this division isn't going anywhere. I think it's still going to be very good. And the thing I like, and Billy, this kind of hits at what you were talking about a minute ago. The Packers, they know what they have to do to get to the next level. They know where they have to make improvements. They know how far they have to go to get to that next level. Of those three teams atop the NFC that they played 6 times and lost 6 times to. So I think, Brian Gutekunst and his staff, it's their season now. They know what they need to do. There's no question about that.
Yeah, and they actually have resources to go out and spend on it. Like I'm very bullish on what this offseason can be. And guess what? You know what? I don't like winning the offseason more than I like winning during the season. But last year was kind of fun. Like free agency was kind of fun when all of a sudden you're sitting here saying, wait a second, you're getting the best safety and the best running back?
Yeah, it wasn't something we experienced.
What the heck happened?
As Packer fans.
It's awesome. So I'm excited to see how that plays. And Wayne, I think there's clear opportunity for them to get better in one of our favorite 3-day runs of the year, which is the NFL draft. And I'm very, very excited for that. Very excited to be listening to the Cyclones cover here tonight against the Kansas Jayhawks. Do not like that center on the team. Not as much as Mike Heller doesn't like Hunter Dickinson.
Oh, okay.
Mike Heller, not a fan of Hunter Dickinson.
I want to make sure you weren't talking about Pewaukee's own Ian Mamachilovich from Iowa State.
Are you kidding? Come on.
Yeah.
Again, why?
Yeah, just a piece of news. He's not going to be able to play tonight.
Oh, wow, that breaking news right there.
Dude,
really.
okay, now that does
okay.
He suffered a hand injury in practice, and so we're disappointed he's not going to be able to play tonight,
tough news there.
But
thanks for the
Wayne. Yeah.
I appreciate that news.
But anyway, I want you guys to be up to date on this because, Billy, I know you might make an investment somewhere along the way.
Yes.
Wayne, I'm glad you mentioned that because it is -5 right now at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And your boy had a tough one last night. 2 of 3. We're starting this new little ditty called the Billy's Parlay of the Day. And we lost our 3-leg parlay yesterday by half a Damian Lillard point. So the fans are restless, and third time's going to be the charm for us in about 25 minutes from right now. So I appreciate that insight.
Yeah, and it's, I was looking forward to seeing Milan Momcilovic because he played at Pewaukee. They won 3 straight, state titles.
State titles, yeah.
Ago. And but unfortunately, he probably, I'm not sure if he'll play or not, but he suffered a hand injury in practice yesterday, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it tonight or not.
Well, we are excited to be able to listen on Compass Media Networks coming up here later on tonight. Fired up to have you still being able to hang out with us a couple of times. And Wayne, cannot tell you how much we appreciate your contributions to the radio program all year long, throughout the playoffs, hopefully coming up into the postseason, into the offseason. Your accessibility is one of the reasons why this team and the fan base continue to have better knowledge of the team. So we appreciate you sharing that insight with us here today.
Indeed.
Well, look forward to talking playoffs with you next week, guys.
Thank you so much,
man.
Wayne.
That's Wayne Larrivee hanging out with us here today and every weekend and every week on No BS.
What a treat. What a treat to get Wayne. Anytime we get Wayne, what a treat to be able to be around his presence, to talk to him. But what a treat to get him now. I mean, he's busy at work. He carved out a little time for us.
Carves out some time in between shoot-arounds to hang out with us. Brought to you by Steam Fitters Local 601, the National Fire Sprinklers Association. And I don't just like say that to say it. Being able to hear from the guy that people are listening to call games, one of the reasons why accessibility and fan bases continue to grow. Like it's an awesome deal to have Wayne be a part of it, and we're fired up to have him continue to author different moments and illustrate different moments of Green Bay Packers history. And I do believe it's going to start next year.
Yeah, I
believe we're finally going to add in one of those posters to that walk up. Going up to the locker room.
I love that.
There's been enough home playoff games to be able to do so.
Well, I have been accused of being a positive thinker, and I tend to believe that I'm leaning more toward your side, Billy. You know, I've been making these comparisons, workshopping this thought experiment for a long time that this was the 94 Packers. This was kind of that point in the progression. And while Aaron Nagler, our buddy, is completely correct, not everything is linear. You know, this is not how it works. I could see that in being part of the process. The question is, will that process eventually manifest itself into a world championship? I believe one day it will, hopefully very soon, you know?
Hopefully it does. And we are going to clean up a couple of these talking text line messages because we got a couple of really, really good ones from early on our conversation about NIL and how it is already affecting different players coming into the National Football League, different generations of players. And Armin cooking it up over here.
I like that.
In
I
the
can
absolute lab over here, getting ready for Billy's parlay.
I can hear it in about 20 minutes. I can hear it simmering, marinating. I can smell it. You know, it's boiling. I can hear it.
Doesn't smell bad, does it?
So far, it smells like a winner. But
something you might get that would smell bad. Game used jersey. I got to ask you how you feel about the game used jersey that is now on Golden Auctions. I'll explain the story coming up on the other side. And Armin Sarian, knowing you, this might be the worst thing you've ever heard.
Okay, I
can't wait for it.
I can't wait.
It's no BS with Billy and Sarian. Stay wide on the game.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Mike Heller here, inviting you to join me and my wife, Kari, December 11th when we uncover the unique charms of Austria and Germany. It's a magical Christmas market tour with Colette. We'll unpack this once and stay in Innsbruck, Austria. We have a great trip planned for you. Here's how you find out more information. You can call 844-871-7824 or visit 973thegame.iheart.com for details.
Hello, this is John Kuhn for Hildebrand Law. Estate planning is truly for everyone, even former fullbacks. And who do you want to decide what happens to your assets, your wealth? You're the courts. For the right to play, go to Hildebrand Law Firm. I did. Their estate planning team of experts are approachable, smart, and caring, and they're right here in southeastern Wisconsin. Kirsten Hildebrand and her firm are part of our community and committed to the highest quality of service. They're my firm. To request consultation, go to hildebrandlawfirm.net or call at 414-207-6357.
When Flawless Flooring installs luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, modern laminate, or carpeting, I personally guarantee your satisfaction with every step from shopping through installation. I'm Flawless Flooring's president, Dave Brownsdorf, and I approve this message. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring, flawlessflooringllc.com.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
The Home Depot's new supply house is built for one job, to deliver yours. No cart, all flatbed. And more than a store, our supply house comes to you. Get the whole job delivered as soon as next day from the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month, all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Chronic joint pain has a snowball effect. It's not just the pain.
What that did is just make me depressed that I couldn't get back into the gym, and I was inactive, gaining weight. I had to find another alternative.
And for Chad, that alternative was QC Kinetics and the non-surgical natural biologic treatments that can give lasting relief to aching hips, shoulders, knees, and backs.
Once they explained it, it made sense. Putting what we have inside our body back into us in a certain strategic way to heal up in a natural process was fantastic.
QC Kinetics treatments take place right in the office. No downtime, no surgery. And as for the outcome,
I'm just back to bouncing around, having fun, doing my work, living pain-free.
Don't let chronic joint pain rob you of your quality of life. Discover advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. Call now to learn more. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Another sunny and cold start to our day today, but getting cloudier later on and warming up to 24. Should stay near 20 overnight tonight with a chance for light snow and then warm to the upper 30s for tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Drew and KB here. Join us at 3 o'clock. It's Hot Take Hump Day. We welcome your hottest of hot takes. We'll also live the high life with our buddy, celebrity chef Adam Pavlak.
We'll talk to Patrick Herb from the Wisconsin Badgers and Patrick Nettersham about a great concert that's coming up on Thursday.
Join us at 3, Drew and KB.
Soldier Boy, tell. Hey, I got this new dance for y'all called the Soldier Boy. You just gotta punch, then crank back 3 times from left to right.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian hanging out with you. 262 as us on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line, Armin.
Yeah.
Do you think the Packers will get rid of either Elton Jenkins or Rashawn Gary?
Not by choice, I don't think.
I will say no.
Not by choice. I mean, I think we all got the sense of my man Glover, like, I'm sorry, I love you, but we got the sense of how bad the Packers needed Elton when he went down, right?
I think that was pretty clear.
And then, so I don't, obviously they're going to get rid of Elton. And then it's, Rashawn Gary, for whatever you feel about him, is their best guy at that spot. That's just the way I look at it, Billy. I mean, he is.
It is true. Like, as much as people will want to say that the contract, and he doesn't live up to it, and understandably so, the production this year does not match a guy making $25 million.
It's not horrible production, but it wasn't
wasn't
consistent and game-changing enough, right?
No.
So we're looking for that still from Rashawn.
But you are right. He is down in and down out your best player at that spot, so you're not just going to get rid of him.
Thought he was still good.
You also would then be eating, checks notes on Spotrac, you would be eating $34 million in dead cap. So you're not going to pay $35 million for him not to be on the football
team. I know there's an instinct with fans like get rid of this guy or cut this. Even before we were talking about players and how they are, it's like, we'll cut him. It's like, you're not just going to start cutting talent off your team when you think it's going to make your team worse.
It generally doesn't go well.
I just don't think it works that way. Yeah.
Okay. So this came across the wire earlier on today, and I had to get your pulse on it. Okay. There was a moment that went pretty viral in the late stages of 2024. December 27th was the night. Youngster takes a sign to a basketball game in which Victor Wembanyama is playing in, second-year player with the San Antonio Spurs. The sign says, Victor, want to do a jersey swap?
Pretty cool, right?
Pretty cool idea,
yeah,
right? Kid's maybe 3 years old, 4 years old. He's got his little 4T Victor Wembanyama jersey on after the game. Wemby walks over takes his jersey off, takes a picture with the little guy. I mean, like, this 3T jersey can't be more than covering Wemby's belly button.
Super cute, right?
Awesome moment. Kids holding the jersey and it's like covering his toes.
Great for video, great for visuals, great moment, heartwarming moment in pro sports.
Is it still heartwarming when earlier today that game-worn jersey from the jersey swap with Young Fan after Victor Wembanyama's game-used photo matched San Antonio Spurs City Edition jersey with a team-high 19.7 boards, 4 assists, and 6 blocks from Sports Investors LOA on Golden Auctions for $10,000.
I'm sorry. The reality is, and there was an enterprising dad that said, we can use this as a commodity. Now, I don't know if he intentionally used his child as one. If he did, I mean, that's kind of funny,
This is
actually.
going towards your college fund, little Billy.
But the thing is, memorabilia
That's
is
going to give
bursting.
me like 3 classes.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. 1 room and board semester.
Yeah.
But Ken Golden, if you have watched his Netflix show on Golden Auctions.
Oh, I'm unfamiliar with his game.
He doesn't care. He's going after every piece of memorabilia. He wants to be the leader in the market. He'll do whatever it takes to be the memorabilia king. And if you want your item to be sold and you want the money, you go to Ken Golden and Golden Auctions.
Okay, so you think Ken Golden maybe seeks this guy out and says, hey, I know what you just got there?
Well, it could be that because he's got a lot of guys. He's got a lot of guys recruiting memorabilia for him, looking around for stuff to sell.
Wow. Okay.
But people are also coming to him. I'm sure they're willing to make a deal. And do I feel bad? I feel, you know what I feel bad for? There's a lot of kids out there that would actually love this for the experience and because it's their favorite player and to keep it as a keepsake. There are still a lot of kids out there that don't want to use everything as a commodity. That being said, there are a lot of people out there that look at this as a business now. And as long as money and the value of memorabilia, Billy, keeps increasing and becomes a big market, this will continue to occur. We do the same thing with Packer tickets and the real sale market. As long as they're valuable, people will be trying to use them as a commodity and trying to get money.
Yeah, and now I think this is a little different than Packers tickets.
It's very different. I admit that. I'm just saying as a commodity, right?
I mean, like when you and I go back and forth on selling tickets, that can be to subsidize your
tickets for the next year.
The tickets that you spent for this year, right? Like it can be an offsetting cost deal. It can be how you are able to fully utilize this entertainment dollars. You have a certain amount of it for budget. I mean, if you're getting $10,000 and I got the picture.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Take it? Not take $10,000?
Am I not supposed to take $10,000? Like I got the picture with him. I got an autograph.
Especially if it's not going to make my kid cry. Like that's the thing. Is he doing it against the
kid's
will of his
3 years old? Like
He's probably not
maybe
gonna remember.
I was gonna say maybe when he's 10, he's like, Dad, where's that jersey from this picture?
Now here's the thing.
It's at a collectibles shop in Ohio.
It's in your bank account, son.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
Like, you won't be upset about it.
It's in your EdVest account. It's fascinating. Like do
you want to go to college or not? Like, you know what I mean? Like
I thought you'd be a little bit more completely anti this feeling.
Well, I think it's against the spirit of being a fan in some ways.
Well, definitely against the spirit of what Wemby was thinking.
I can't sit here and blame somebody for that could be life-changing money for that family.
Is this dad
not crazy life-changing?
Is this dad as much of a whole as like baby Gronk's dad?
Well, we got no, that guy's worse. And we have to know the entire story here. Like, if
there's more to the story.
If he shows up like Marlins man at different stadiums, I know we got to go, and keeps doing this, the internet will find out. If you see me,
they'll Ryan Caldwell that guy.
If you see me take Lena in 4 years all around stadiums using her as a prop to get free stuff, I will get found out and get roasted by social media.
And I don't think you're low enough to do that.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that. Come on, I wouldn't do that.
No.
Now I might wear the jersey. I'll wear it. Doesn't fit her.
Would you wash it?
Well, not if it's autographed. Not if it's autographed.
Well, this is game used. I don't know. The jersey game used,
never
not
autographed. You never wash a game used jersey.
Okay. 877-794-1973. 877-794-1973. Get your takes in on that. Is that guy the worst dad of all time, or is that the best business decision you can actually make? We're going to make a really good business decision on the other side. We're going to win for the first time in Billy's Parlay of the Day. We're going to get an update from Doug Russell, and then we're going to be back right after this with Billy and Armin. It is No BS with Billy and Sarian. It's a Dave Gasser production right here on The Game.
Soldier boy, that Superman, that now I mean you crank that soul, 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 now what?
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line.
Hey, I'm just trying to find some answers here.
At 1-877-794-1973.
Hey, it's Brian Butch, and I am freezing. It's cold outside. Nobody likes this kind of weather. It's cold inside my house. It's probably cold inside your house. And one of the reasons might be your windows. Window Nation can help you. 50% off all window styles, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 years. Plus, 96% of their service does not need a follow-up. So give them a call at 866-90Nation or visit them right now at windownation.com and get a quote. Make sure you stay warm all winter long.
Kroger brand products exclusively at Pick and Save have the great taste you'll celebrate. That's why over 40 million people choose Kroger brand products, making them a true crowd pleaser. And with quality guaranteed, you'll love your choice or get your money back. Score Kroger brand products with savings you can cheer for and great taste you can't resist. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. Never drive drunk. If arrested for DUI, say nothing. Remember, anything that you say can and will be used against you in court. Even if a friendly arresting officer tells you otherwise, a first-time DUI is a big deal. A first-time drunk driving conviction stays on your record for life, can impact career opportunities far down the road, and even limit your ability to rent a car or travel abroad. Call my award-winning team of former state prosecutors for help. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com. That's GrieveLaw.com.
I'm Benefit Company's Kurt Otto. INET is a knowledgeable, enthusiastic, innovative, creative, focused, true genius, an expert at branding business visually and telling your story, making potential new business make contact.
Your marketing guru or web developer can't do what INET does, maximizing your business profitability. Just like you can't keep up with regulations and see all opportunity to maximize business efficiencies, like your in-source benefit companies will. ConnectandSimplify.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com. INET-web.com.
BetOnline is the ultimate destination for all your sports wagering needs in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-timer, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. Always the largest selection of odds from football, pro and college basketball, hockey, to cage fighting. BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. BetOnline has you covered on every play, every score, and every win. Visit the website today to get in on all the action. BetOnline. The game starts here.
Brian Butch for Iron Jock Performance Apparel. January 10th is historically marked as Quitter's Day. That is the day that over 50% of New Year resolutions get broken. But we are Iron Jock Nation, and we are not quitters. So get back at it with a buy one, get one free t-shirt program. Now through January 26th. Buy a short or long sleeve t-shirt and get a second t-shirt for free. Buy a short sleeve, get a free short sleeve. Buy a long sleeve, get a free long sleeve. Go to ironjock.com for details. That's ironjlc.com.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes. So it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Lowe's knows how to help make your Super Bowl 59 party a touchdown. Let us help you prep your home to host with top brands like Charbroil, Blackstone, and LG, so you can be the MVP of game day. Plus, use the Lowe's app to find what you need for a seamless shopping run. Or huddle up with our Lowe's Red Vest associates to help make all your game time hosting decisions.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator, roll with the sausage breakfast burrito, buddy it up with a honey buddy, or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes, and then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
Participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Grab the contest rules for 97.3 The Game at thegamemke.com.
Milwaukee's most listened to sports station and heard on the iHeart app by fans everywhere. This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee, 97.3 The Game. No BS with Billy and Armin, brought to you by Screamin' Sicilian Premium Craft Frozen Pizza. Find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Doug Russell.
All right, let's start at Fiserv. The Bucs scoring 47 first quarter points en route to a 15-point win over Sacramento. The Kings have been riding a heater, but that heater ends in the Brew City. 130-115, the final score. Giannis, 33 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists. Add that up. It's a triple-double, the 50th of his career. His running mate, Damian Lillard, 24 points and 7 assists.
I just think we have to understand how we're playing and the things that we're doing when we're successful. And when we do that, I think we'll have success against any team. We've shown that, especially on our home floor. When you got your crowd behind you, everything feels 10 times better.
And they've got the home crowd again tonight, hosting Orlando. The Magic, another good team coming into Fiserv Forum.
So, and something we talked about with the home crowd, Billy, a different home crowd this year, maybe because the tickets have been cheaper all year. And I've been asking everybody, you think that we can get a different type of energy in the arena now when we have cheaper tickets again? Well, I don't know if that's
less
happening.
corporate is what you're saying.
Well,
no, that's what you're saying.
I haven't
maybe a little
fine.
flat, a little throwback.
I'll admit I haven't been able to get to as many this year as you have. So you might have the feeling of what's going on in there more. So
been to one, but like, but definitely, like it's definitely
it's football season just ended.
The Globetrotters was the other one. Yeah, no doubt about it. But listen, I'm trying to get there tonight.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get there tonight for my guy Paolo.
Now, when you bring Carson, are you going to hold him up and say Paolo jersey swap? I would.
Oh, that's
I actually would. I'm not that mad about this as you might think. All right.
At the Kohl Center, meanwhile, the Badgers hung on for dear life after Ohio State erased a 17-point halftime lead. The final 70-68 at the Kohl Center. Wisconsin had a 17-point, as I mentioned, halftime lead. Almost gave it up and almost denied Coach Greg Gard his 200th career win.
You divide this up, and it's a lot of hard work by a lot of people, a lot of hours that go unseen and unnoticed to have an opportunity to help a program be successful. So, like I said, my name goes to it. There's just a lot of people that help put me in this position, and a lot of people that should go on that 200, probably 200 people.
200 wins is not insignificant.
At all. And
it is not.
And especially following what he had to follow, the legacy of Bo. And I love the way he showed humility and gratitude there for other people. Greg Gard has a lot of people say a lot of things about him, but Greg Gard does a great job and is a great basketball coach, and time and again has overcome adversity to transform the program into teams that win and teams that are always in. I just have a lot of respect for his coaching ability.
And they're 14-3. They go to the NCAA tournament almost every year.
He's done it again. Another year where people didn't know what to expect from the Badgers, and Greg Gard has figured out how to make a winner out of it, and it's really impressive.
Blackwell's having a good year. Tanji's having a good year. Stephen Krau's having an amazing year.
And
after he called him out for, hey, how do we have 0 rebounds, Stevie? What are we doing?
Talk about coaching and guys that get
responding well, yeah.
And a guy I think that's transformed the identity of the program under people's eyes that think of the Badgers as a plodding offense. This is not that team. I mean, he's changed their offensive philosophy. He's changed their coaching staff, the type of players they bring in, and how they play. So congratulations, Coach Gard.
Without a doubt. All right. The number 7 Marquette Golden Eagles, they were in action at DePaul last night as well. They had to go to overtime to get a big win. Here's Shaka Smart.
I told the guys, last couple of days, I said, DePaul's going to beat somebody soon. And don't think that we're above that being us. And it nearly was us. I mean, some of the shot making that they were displaying, even before overtime, some of the bombs at the end of the shot clock, it was, you start to think, your mind starts to tell you it's not our night.
David Joplin had 30 last night. They got Xavier on Saturday.
Crazy Sweat. and not a comfortable night. And he's right. I mean, DePaul is
he's really not lying. They're going to beat somebody.
So they have to.
Yeah, they've been overtime. How many times now?
They've been in overtime, and they said like 3 or 4 different conference games. Like,
Holtman's doing a better job there than anyone probably has on that bench for the last 20 years.
Just very glad.
Not a big Dave Lato fan.
Well, Lato's first run was okay.
Yeah.
His second run was not.
Well, his first run was so good, then he got poached by Virginia, and then that didn't go so well. So then he got sent back.
Yeah. And Mark Aguirre is not walking through that door. Okay. But this is a new DePaul. Well, this is a DePaul reference. I just think, I just think
40 years ago
they are getting better, and there was a long
the reason why he talks about Mark Aguirre is because he saw him last year.
Yeah, I did. Okay, I did. Yeah.
Where'd you see him?
What's that?
Where'd you see him?
Well, I didn't see. It was at Joey Meyer's funeral. Okay, rest in peace, Coach Meyer. You know,
funeral. Like, hey, I saw Mark Aguirre.
I didn't go up to him and say, "Hey, how you doing, Mark?" I remember that game in 1980 when you beat UCLA. I didn't do all that.
They used to roll his old man out. Old man Ray Meyer out.
Ray lived
every
a long
game
time.
that he was. I mean, Ray lived. He was like, I think he finally died at like 147.
Yeah, Ray lived
but
a
they
long
would
time.
roll him out after during every single DePaul game in the early 2000s when I was living in Chicago. And you know, the Rosemont Horizon or whatever the Allstate Arena was, 5 minutes from my house. So yeah, I'll go to the DePaul game. Why not? So I would go, and and here's the legend himself, Ray Meyer. I was like, dude, that was like 40 years ago.
He was
Lightning Larry Luciano.
Turn the page already.
I mean, he just wanted to stop over at Rivers, was probably getting a nice prime rib dinner before the game. Like, yeah, I'll stop over.
Those were the days, though, where, college basketball for a lot of places, and DePaul was one of those, the Independence. It was a mom and pop shop for like 50 years. It was Ray and Joey. So, but DePaul, they were in overtime against, I think, Providence, maybe Xavier. They've had some tough games this year. They won in the non-conference.
That was one of the only things I listened to Steve Lapis on last night was the amount of overtime games they've played.
Oh, a lot of overtime games.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Steve Lapis might need to be, we might be ready to have that experiment be over.
But you know what? Wow, don't get me started on that. But it was a fun night of basketball. And
that's a great night of basketball.
I got to remind
Bucks
myself.
won, Marquette won, Badgers won.
And they were very exciting games. Whether or not we want them to be that exciting, they were very exciting.
And my man Ben Gold is legit.
He had that big dunk, right?
I might be getting me a Ben Gold
like him a lot.
NIL shirt.
Yeah,
I also ridiculed him one time to Armin, and he's like, "Come on, what are you talking about? He's doing good. He's doing good. He is doing good.
Well, he's hitting his threes,
growing up a little bit right before our eyes.
I think Ben Gold is fulfilling his potential as a pretty good college center. Whether or not he's not a dominant big man, but he's a guy that steps out for this era of game. He plays tough inside, and he's fairly good defensively.
The pun that I saw last night on Twitter was Marquette, Ben Gold. Literally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
That's all I got.
That's a funny one. Yeah.
It's the Ben.
No, I didn't say it was.
I didn't.
The Marquette Ben Gold.
Mine.
Yeah.
The Marquette Ben Golds. That very, very glad they ended up pivoting off that nickname. Like that was that would have been an absolute disaster.
How long did that last? About a week?
6 days. It was a wild week. I was at my senior year. I was in RA, and I remember Father Wild, the president of the school, at the RA reception. We got to go to the 5th floor of the Union. He said, "We're mired in a certain controversy right now." And everyone laughed.
The dumbest name possible.
He goes, "We know you guys as student leaders can help foster positive regard to these. We're going to stick it out." I'm like, "All right, let's go." But we're the gold. And then a couple days later,
went over like a lead balloon.
We're going to revote. We're going to revote.
I'm glad they did. And luckily, I'm glad Dwayne Wade made that call. When they asked them, they're sitting at shoot around.
Yeah.
Gold?
I got to call.
Gold? I got to make a call.
Yeah.
The funny thing about the revote, sorry, really quick.
No, that's good.
There were 12 options.
Okay.
And everyone that was complaining about Golden Eagles, everyone voted for Golden Eagles again. So I was
it was the best of all the options.
It can't be as bad as that
Marquette kept changing the name because they were the Hilltoppers for a long time. Then
I voted Hilltoppers. I liked Hilltoppers.
Then they were the Warriors, famously for a long time. And they were the Warriors in 1977. So anything that happened in 1977 in Marquette, it's like, like the skies and the heavens just open up.
That's all that mattered.
It's all that mattered.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to vote Warriors. That was not part of the thing.
What about Golden Warriors? Would they have put like a mask, like a helmet over them? And
Golden Hilltoppers made of gold?
Well, we were going for that with.
Is the Hilltopper like a ram?
It was a ram, like Marquette High.
Yeah,
the horns.
You can't do that.
But the idea was they're at the top of the hill downtown or something like that, wherever the way.
That's a terrible idea.
Well, this is the 30s.
Terrible justification.
This is the 30s. Okay, so they wouldn't let you vote. I said, what about the Golden State Warriors? It's a nondescript warrior, but it was already the association. So Golden Knights was the push from some students.
I like that
or
one.
the Golden Knights.
Sure.
That didn't get the votes. It was Golden Eagles. that won the votes.
Well,
Makes sense.
If you're not going to make something better, don't change it.
Yeah, don't make it worse just to make it different.
Exactly.
Yeah, no
You know,
doubt
people
about it.
forgot in '94 when they changed it. It was either Golden Eagles or Lightning. Marquette was almost the Lightning, which wouldn't have been too bad looking back.
You know, I went
Golden
30
Eagles is fine.
I went 30 years without knowing that.
There you go. You knew it today.
They
Billy.
almost were the Lightning.
The Lightning.
I'm
was
pretty
the-
glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
The logos would have been cool. Think about the Bolts, the Chargers, the Lightning.
Golden Eagles is pretty meh. I get it.
Yeah.
But if they win a national championship, you know what? Golden Eagles will take on the same connotation that Warriors will for the generation prior to that.
Yep.
You're dang right. Yeah, when Shaka hoists that trophy in San Antonio?
I know that's where it is. Yeah, I believe
San
so.
Antonio this
Yeah,
year?
I think so.
San Antonio. Then they'll be doing
Yeah.
it. Then they'll be enjoying it. Dougie, always enjoy your contributions.
Thank you,
Thanks,
boys.
brother. We'll talk to you tomorrow. That's Doug Russell from the news desk hanging out with us here on No BS with Billy and Sarin. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready because I spent way too much time nerding out there. So yes, please give me something else here. It's time.
I disagree. Listen, I think
you enjoyed
more,
it? Okay.
more people wanted to know that
right.
Marquette was almost the Lightning 30 years ago. And most importantly, Tim and the Shaw loved your Ray Meyer drop. Back in the day, I went to Ray Meyer's basketball camp as a 5th and 6th grader. Ray and Joy were simply great, simply amazing. I'll carry that memory forever.
Well, indeed, and from what Joy was one of the best people there ever was. So you know, I'm glad the legacy of the Myers is still there. So
There it is.
but
See?
the Paul's got to start winning at some point.
Well, and you know who else has to start winning?
Yeah, who's that?
Me.
Time now for Billy's Parlay of the Day, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest.
All right, it's got to happen now. Now is the time.
Today's the day, baby.
Because we can't be having any more of this losing situation going on, all right? So as we kicked around different ideas yesterday and bounced around going a couple of different spreads, had thought about instead of the Bucks money line over 228.5 and Damian Lillard over 24.5 points, thought about going with Bucks laying 2.5, Nuggets covering 3.5, and the Cleveland Cavaliers beating the Indiana Pacers by more than 9 points.
Would have been great.
Would have been great to cash that parlay that did hit. If anybody was listening and said, you know what, those guys just made that parlay and then didn't play it, I think I should do that one. You would have been a big winner, Potawatomi Sportsbook. Instead, 0-2, about to be 1-2. Let me know what you think about this deal.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Now, wanted to play with the Milwaukee Bucks laying the 6 points. When we started this segment, they were laying 5.5. Numbers are shifting all over the place.
I've had it open and everything's been moving. Yeah. So where are we at now, Billy?
Armin, I know you said yesterday life's too short to bet the under.
I did. It's tonight.
I think tonight's the night to bet the under.
Well,
Bucks are coming in off a back-to-back. The Orlando Magic come in as the NBA's number 1 team in total defense in points allowed per game.
They play lower scoring games, no doubt. And it is a
second
back-to-back.
in blocks as a team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Paolo Banchero is coming back, though, and I'd like to think that Paolo is going to be able to fill it up just a little tick. But I'm going under 211.5.
Okay.
All right.
Under 211.
Under 211 is going to be the play for Bucks and Magic here tonight. You're going to tie that little ditty together with a couple of absolute bangers. Was going to go Denver Nuggets last night on the road. Didn't. We're going against them tonight with a team that nobody realizes is one of the better teams in all of basketball. The Houston Rockets laying a point in the altitude in Denver.
They're
Don't
playing
worry
well.
about it. Give me Ime Udoka's squad and give me right now the second-ranked team in the West in the Houston Rockets.
+1.
+1.
Okay.
And we tie that together with the New York Knickerbockers going to the Philadelphia 76ers, who are one of the most abysmal outfits in all of basketball this year. And it makes me very, very happy. There's not a whole lot of things that bring me as much joy as the 76ers being as much of booty cheeks as they are at 15 and 23.
They stink.
Give me the Knicks laying 6 in the city of brotherly love. Jalen Brunson in Philadelphia. You already know that those are banger of nights, Armin. So that's
No
the
doubt
parlay
about it.
of the day here today. Under 211.5 in Bucks and Magic. Rockets plus a point. Knicks laying 6. 3-team parlay. Odds right now plus 582 at Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Actually, Billy, it's shifted to +600, I think, in this moment.
Let's go.
Am I wrong? Under,
We're moving the lines.
I think so. Billy, I like this one a lot. I have a good feeling about it. And it's funny you mentioned the Philadelphia 76ers. I got a question. Where's all that Nick Nurse I was hearing about?
got a little silent, didn't it?
All I was hearing about is how great Nick Nurse was and how much we're bummed for not Nick Nurse and Nick Nurse this and Nick Nurse that. Nick Nurse boy wonder. I haven't heard much about Nick Nurse lately.
Yeah, that got increasingly silent at a very, very quick juncture, right? Yeah. All of a sudden, it's, oh, wait, Nick Nurse. Also, Paul George. Doing a lot of podcasting.
A lot of podcasting. PG,
not necessarily a whole lot of scoring.
Playoff Paul or podcast Paul. What's the But yeah, okay, I like this, Billy. Just to recap on the parlay of Billy's parlay, under 211, Bucks Magic, Rockets +1, and Knicks -6. Let's get a win tonight, Billy. Let's get one.
It needs to happen. We need it bad. We need it like blood. And third time's the charm for the parlay of the day, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook, where you should be betting above the rest. Bet big, bet bold at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, the best place to be hanging out, watching games across the city of Milwaukee. Over 2,000 square foot video board where you can be watching every and any game possible, and probably the best pregame spot that you're going to have for Bucks and Magic tonight. Go and place an investment or two, go and have a cold drink or two, maybe a little something to eat at the kitchen where you're going to grab some bison chili, maybe that piggybacker burger. One of my absolute favorites and one of our all-time favorites here on the show is the all-day brunch, and Doug Russell is going to always support Mama's Pancakes. I would say steak and eggs or chicken wings and waffles, whichever your choice is. PaysBig.com/sportsbook is where you can reserve your spot in the sportsbook today. Choose the game, choose your table, choose your seat. And while you're there at paysbig.com/sportsbook, hit that bet builder, put together your investments before you get there, scan that QR code at the kiosk or at the ticket writer spot, and you can go and grab your winners right there. Armin Sarian, I'd like you to alert to the TV behind you. That is JJ Watt.
Oh,
rocking the Carroll Pioneers on national television.
JJ's wearing a Carroll basketball shirt.
6 to midnight over here inside the Iron Jack Studios.
That is awesome. What's the connect? I mean, obviously,
he is actually one of the best friends with Pioneers head basketball coach Taylor Jansen.
That is so
one
cool.
of his childhood friends. Now,
repping it. I wonder if Pat's going to ask him about it. I'm not listening, obviously. So
sure, hope so.
That is so cool.
Coach Jansen in his second year as the leader of the Carroll Pioneers, third year as the leader of the Carroll Pioneers. He's rocking the Carroll basketball along with the Burnley hat. And wow, very energized here.
How cool is that?
I'll tell you this, was never the biggest JJ Watt fan. Now, JJ, come on now.
Jersey swap, JJ.
How about a quarter zip swap?
I got some Carroll's quarter zips that I could swap with JJ.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a quarter zip he's wearing.
He's rocking a Carroll quarter zip. I actually might have that exact same Carroll quarter zip.
Let's get the quarter zip swap.
You guys got to be twinning.
Somehow he looks better in it than I.
And I took a picture so we can photo match it when we put it on Golden Auctions.
Oh my God.
We can photo match it.
I always knew I liked you, JJ Watt, three-time defensive player of the year, owner of Burnley FC and future Hall of Famer. All right, let's go Pioneers. Listen, anytime the Pios get a shout out, we need to shout it out. I'm a huge fan of that. That is awesome.
That is a great moment right there. Let's hear it. That is awesome.
Man, I like how fired up Armin was to be able to talk about Mark Aguirre. Did I cut that one right?
Mark Aguirre was a great player from Chicago. Yeah.
Let's go, JJ. All right. Let's go Pios. Come on.
Let's go Pios.
Hey, we're bouncing back here, okay? It's been a little tough start to the year for the Pioneer basketball program. However, women's basketball.
Playing well.
You kidding me, Armin, over at Van Male Fieldhouse?
No, I depend on
nationally ranked at one point during the year.
I depend on you to keep me informed.
10-5 right now.
Close to the program, Billy. So I'm glad to hear that.
I'm glad you are. I'm glad you are. And I'll always keep you up to snuff as what's going on with the Carroll Pioneers. All right, we're going to keep you up to snuff as to what's going on across the NFL, NBA, NHL, not as much NHL, but also MLB. And our friend Dave Gasper has a callback to something that happened 4 years ago today. That is a massive win for Brewers fans. We'll play that. We'll talk about that one for you, as well as some trouble brewing in Pittsburgh and your takes on the Victor Wembanyama jersey swap that might turn into me and JJ Watt's Carroll University quarter zip swap. That's all straight ahead in hour number 3. It's no BS, a billion sorry on the game.
Work. On diamonds all in my ring, player. Go watch.
The man can't miss. Time now for Coons Can't Miss. Presented by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big, bet bold.
Happy Hump Day, Ninners. John Kuhn here for another midweek Can't Miss presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook. And the Dallas Mavericks, they've been in a free fall since Luka Doncic injury. They're 3-7 in their last 10, dropping like a lead balloon in the standings. The opponent tonight, the Pelicans, who everybody's favorite to fade during the regular season, but not so fast. The Pels, they've been playing better basketball. They're 4-6 in their last 10, and Zion Williamson is back, well, for now. And they're catching 3 points at the Smoothie Center tonight. So, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Pels to continue the Mavs downward spiral. Pelicans +3 versus the Mavericks. When you need fastener supplies, you have a choice. Go with the champs at Packer Fastener or those other fastener chumps. The champs at Packer Fastener have the largest inventory in the Midwest. Those other chumps may be second best. Packer Fastener's champs at getting orders right. The chumps, not quite. Champs deliver anywhere fast. Chumps come in last. The choice is clear. Drop the chumps and shop the champs at PackerFastener.com for all your contractor and fabricator needs. Packer Fastener, the choice of champions.
I found a fountain of youth down there at QC Kinetics.
That's Henry Hinton, feeling like his young, active self again after treatments at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine.
I still have trouble walking down steps as I get older. I've had one treatment so far, and I can already tell a difference in my knee.
And that treatment at QC Kinetics used Henry's own natural healing properties, concentrated and placed right at the source of the pain. So Henry and patients just like him will enjoy long-term relief without surgery or downtime.
My knee is not hurting. I remember I was walking down some steps yesterday and I thought, wow, this is not hurting when I walk down steps. I'm all in on it. I'm all in on QC Kinetics.
It's time to wind back the clock to days without constant joint pain. Start with a call to QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
When Flawless Flooring installs luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, modern laminate, or carpeting, I personally guarantee your satisfaction with every step from shopping through installation. I'm Flawless Flooring's president, Dave Brownsdorf, and I approve this message. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring, flawlessflooringllc.com.
I'm Sawyer, and I'm Shannon. Together, we're Twin Stunts, the only twin motorcycle freestyle show in the world. We are born and raised in Wisconsin, so we want all our fellow cheeseheads to know that even though we clutch it up, hit 12, and drift in our show, we would never do it on the open road. And there's another thing we would never do on the road. Drive drunk, drive sober, or get pulled over. Together, we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov. Wisconsin DOT.
Attorney Tom Grieve here for Divergent Family Law. Many divorce lawyers set the divorce stage as a cage match, fight of your life. They make money off your misery. The quality of your attorney and Wisconsin law have greater impact on your divorce decree than fighting will. Divergent Family Law is the right firm for your soul and finances. Transitioning to your own life path doesn't have to mean doing as much damage possible to everyone involved. Divergent Family Law, separate and equal or better. DivergentFamilyLaw.com.
This message is sponsored by WisCaregiver.com. Now is the time to start a meaningful career as a caregiver. Make a real difference in people's lives. WisCaregiver.com gives you 2 great options for free. Train for the in-demand caregiver workforce as a CDCP, Certified Direct Care Professional, or become a CNA, Certified Nurse Aide. All training is free. Plus, you can earn a $500 bonus. Learn more. Visit WisCaregiver.com.
Woo! Sorry about that. This is Armin Sargent, and I just had a slice of Screamin' Sicilian. It's the premium frozen pizza that's so screamin' good. Even just thinking about it, I sometimes, woo! Each Screamin' Sicilian starts with a super buttery crust that was individually rolled. Then, it's topped with a secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and the most toppings you've ever seen on a pizza. Seriously, one bite and you'll understand what all the screaming is about. Jackpot! Sounds like Brian Butch just found out. Find Screamin' Sicilian premium frozen pizza in the freezer at your favorite store. Screamin' Sicilian, it's so screamin' good.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for University Housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I love it.
Join the millions already on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
It's so easy to use.
The live radio dial, presets, scan, plus lyrics, podcasts, and your favorite artists' radio.
Just type it in, and there it is.
Now it's even easier to discover what you love.
I love my presets. Adding presets is so much fun.
This looks really nice. Just in time for the new year, the new and improved iHeartRadio app. It's everything you love about your car radio in the palm of your hand.
Very cool update. 5 stars, guys.
97.3 The Game.
With me, baby, tell me who do you love? Who do you love?
Who do you love is the game that we and the question that we ask each and every person that calls the NicolaLaw.com talking text line in the 11 o'clock hour, courtesy of Potawatomi Sportsbook. Potawatomi Casino Hotel.
Yep.
And Armin, once you get into the NFL playoffs, everybody wants to know who you love. Now, one of my favorite questions that people ask me on Sundays, and you start to know who invests in sports when they ask questions in certain ways,
certain types
the way
of
you
questions.
frame it, the way you phrase it. When somebody asks you, who do you like?
Yeah, who do you like this weekend? Right.
You know what that means.
Yeah.
Who are you betting on? So who do you love means, all right, I'm sick and tired of how you tell me who you like.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know if you're placing that one. Who do you love? I know where you're going and I know where you're leaning. I'm already leaning heavily on most of these games. But before we give out some more leans and we talk about these investments going into the divisional round, do we have some picks here? I know everybody, 16 participants need to have their picks 16. In by 11 o'clock on Friday. 11 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Yep, on Friday. That's what we're doing, and we're sticking to that. We're holding a tough line on that. Got to get your picks in, but
how are we sitting right now?
Just a real quick recap. Congrats to everybody that did make it through the wild card round. You're in the Sweet 16 now in the divisional round. We're chopping it down. Yeah, exactly. You can
got more t-shirts. Yeah.
Now, if you're Josh and DePere, I'm going to read off the the guys that are involved, so you know. Josh and DePere, Mark and Madison, Tony and Oak Creek, Benny and Merton, Schwartzenner, Jacob in the 414, Bobby and Ashwaubenon, Mike and Greenfield, Bruce in Whitefish Bay, Deviation Don, Brian Hintage, Mickey the Fitz, Brian and Eau Claire, Mark / Peeps from West Bend, Brenton Franklin and Brian from Ohio. Those were our 16. Now we're chopping it down by half every round. So the top 8 are moving through. So you're trying to make it through to the top 8. And if you've already started, we've got our first picks in already from Brian from Ohio. Thank you, Brian. I'm obviously not locking in the lines from today. Everyone's getting the same lines Friday and 11, but Brian got in his picks. And I appreciate that, Brian. It's going to be the same situation. Pick every game this weekend. There's 4 games. Pick every game against the spread, pick a winner, and then pick the lock, and then the final score of that lock. Total deviation from those scores will be the tiebreak.
And it went down to deviation this week. So I like to think that that's a massive part of it. It's a big part of it. It's going to be a big part of it. It generally always is. These lines have moved just a tick. Right away, opening at 7.5. Most institutions, Potawatomi Sportsbook was no different for that Chiefs-Texans game.
Yeah.
Not surprised that it's been bet up to 8.5 in favor of the home team. I think people are finally going to be over betting against Pat Mahomes in the playoffs.
I think so too.
I think we're past that where it's like the in vogue thing to say is like, you know what? I think they might lose this time.
Will he win forever though? Will they win forever? Like it does seem.
I
like,
got a sick, twisted feeling he might.
It does feel that way, and I don't know if the Texans are the team. Although they did impress me a little bit last week. Obviously, I think no one expected Shouldn't say no one. A lot of people didn't expect them to do what they did to the Chargers, right?
Mhm.
So there is an impressive level there. Stroud could really make a name for himself, set a legacy game if he did find a way to beat Mahomes. I don't know that I expected.
God.
I don't know that I
I
expected.
mean, think about what that blow up is for CJ Stroud, who last year, I mean, after rightfully so, rookie year was sensational.
Yeah.
24 touchdowns. What was it? 6 picks. Offensive rookie of the year.
It was the big story. And then there was a little bit of,
Is he already a top 5 quarterback? And then he has a sophomore slump. They win a game in which their defense picks off Justin Herbert not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 picks.
4.
One of which returned for a touchdown, the other inside the 10. And all of a sudden, he's the flavor of the month again. So, like,
that's the thing. I mean, he could really.
He goes and beats Mahomes.
Right. Yeah.
I'm telling you, Armin, the conversation on Monday is, should CJ Stroud have a bust in Canton already?
You know what? Definitely would erase the memory of that sophomore slump. The conversation.
Whoever loses in the Sunday late afternoon game.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Buffalo, Baltimore, which opened at Buffalo, laying a 1.5. Now Buffalo, the home team's getting a point. Whoever loses, CJ Stroud, if they beat Kansas City, loser on Sunday. CJ Stroud better than Lamar Jackson?
That's what the
Is
conversation.
CJ Stroud better than Josh Allen already?
That's what the conversation will be.
It
Billy.
will happen quickly.
So I'm kind of hoping, and I'm not really cheering for the Chiefs, of course, to win 3 in a row. I don't know that it's going to happen this week, but I did want to see them lose at some point. Now, I think we're going to get some great games, Billy. Chiefs are -8.5. The Lions -9.5. The Commanders, Eagles are -6. And that Bills-Ravens game, is that going to be a good one? And if the Chiefs do beat the Texans like we assume, are we going to get one of the great AFC championship games of all time? I know people are going to be hoping for that. Because I think whoever comes out of Ravens-Bills and then it's Chiefs, you're talking about legacy games, man. These are the ones, Billy. These are the ones. So
it really is. I mean, like they are made, and legacies are made and also broken in the postseason. It always happens. It happens every single year. So it is fun to be able to see how quickly they change. And also sitting pretty much where it opened. It opened at 10 at some spots, 9.5 now at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Commanders and Lions Saturday night game. Do not know where I'll lean in on that one. I want to say Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. However, I feel like discretion is going to be the better part of valor, and I'm going to go with the home team and the best team.
yeah, I think that's the way it usually goes, Billy. We'll see if that's another guy that could set a legacy. That's what's exciting. We could be making history
because he's
watching
already
history this
CJ
weekend.
Stroud from 2023, where people are saying he top 5 quarterback in football already.
Yeah, the fact that
who's better than him right now?
That new chapters of these books are going to be written. And
Instantly.
that's what's exciting about it. So it should be a lot of fun this weekend, the divisional round, and I'd be interested to watch these lines and how they move all week.
Okay, so quick question for our guy Dave Gasper, because reviewing the Brew is where we get a lot of our good Brewers conversation. Our friend Dave Gasper locks that down. Dave, what's up with this international signing bonus, Cat? So 4 years ago today, the Brewers give $1.8 million to Jackson Chourio.
Yep, they did.
Seems like it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it worked out all right.
Now, then we were able to then sign Jackson to an $80 million contract before he plays baseball in the professionals. What's up with the young man that they just gave $1.3 million to? And is this Jackson Chourio 2.0?
Yeah, Kenny Fenelon is the guy that's
Like that name,
coming out
Fenelon?
Fenelon coming out of the Dominican Republic. He's a big power bat, power over hit kind of guy. These are 16-year-olds they're signing from these countries, but this is the day that like the whole signing period opens. This is where you sign your 16-year-old.
Is this when Roki is going to get signed?
Roki can sign today. Yes.
So he can just now sign today.
Yeah. So with the money for the international bonus pool, like he got posted last month, but now is when he can actually like sign when teams have money to sign him. So like resets.
Yeah.
So
and
he can sign starting today, and he has to sign by like next week.
Wow. And I was stunned
Yeah.
to see on his preferred destinations, the LA Dodgers and San Diego Padres.
Yeah. And the Blue
Shocking.
Jays for some reason. He's got Toronto in there. I don't know why.
The only reason why Toronto gets into these conversations, Armin,
because
it's one of the largest cities in the world.
People don't realize that.
in Canada.
Basically the size of Chicago. People don't realize that.
And the ability to probably fly internationally is, better than it is, I guess, in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Damn,
but
maybe so.
I wanted Roki just because I wanted to be able to yell that out.
There is something
Yeah.
with their taxes too that makes it harder for them. They had to over.
high taxes over there. Yeah.
So and what else, Dave? We seem to do very well in Venezuela. That's the thing.
Venezuela's
That's
really
a hotbed
where,
for us.
Oh, that's a hotbed. The
Okay,
Brewers
now
have a
we're talking.
machine down there in Venezuela. It's where they got Chirinos, where they got Jesus Made, who's now one of their top
That's your boy
prospects.
right now.
That was our guy. He signed last year at this time.
Okay.
And this year, Braylon Antunes is the guy. And that's my pick to click from this group. That's
on
the guy
now.
I think is going to be a real stud. Seems like a 5-tool kind of
Can
guy.
you give us that name again?
Braylon Antunes.
Braylon Antunes.
I like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
High
love
upside
that,
guy,
Dave.
ton of
16-year-old?
16 from Venezuela. Yeah. If you want to feel old, look at the birthdays for these guys. They were born in like 2008.
Now, this is going to sound really, really dumb because I have watched that Sophia Minert video that they've done of the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
It's going to sound bad. Baseball school, baseball academy.
Yeah.
What else are you teaching these young men? Like this cat's 16 years old and is going to come into professional baseball in America. Obviously, you're teaching him how to be able to integrate himself into American culture. You would
Yeah,
assume.
you're going to
assimilate
teach
in
them
there.
English, and you're going to be kind of still
Teach him how to
teaching them-
drive.
Yeah, teach them
16-year-old. Do we have behind the wheel?
They might have that.
They might.
Where
I don't
you're
know.
Driving around, the teacher in the passenger seat has the brake.
Got to have the brake on the floor.
Yeah.
Somebody in the back going to get those.
We're gonna teach him parallel parking. They did that with Giannis when he first came over.
Well, I mean, because you also got to have the behind the wheel. You also got to be able to observe. You got to have those
Right.
observing hours.
Right. Absolutely. So, no, it's pretty interesting what they've done, and I think that's what the Brewers have to do. Right, the Brewers have to work harder to find talent somewhere else, trying to get to him early. They started watching Trey when he was 11, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like they start scouting these kids when they're like 11, 12, 13 years old,
Yeah.
and they agree to deals like ahead of time. Like a lot of these guys, they've had deals lined up with the Brewers for 2 years.
It's amazing.
And it's like, oh yeah, when they started scouting him, this kid was 5'8". Now he's 6'1". It's like, oh, okay. Like you don't know. It is so hard to project.
Can I say the quiet part out loud? Feels kind of shady, but feels very, very fascinating.
Oh, it's absolutely shady.
I mean, like I know
there is so much wrong.
It's the recruiting process, though, that if you are trying to project talent, that's what you do.
And the Brewers have been very good at projecting talent from the international ranks. So
Yeah.
they have been very good at
And I
that.
know-
They're one of the best organizations in baseball.
Is that a different department than the Tom Flanagan and
Yes.
Todd Johnston?
Well, it's a different department than the
Because Flanagan
Todd
is
Johnston. He's the farm director.
Farm
so he
director.
oversees the farm
All the
system,
teams
where,
in the
where
minor
these
league
guys
system.
are being placed and things like that. Todd Johnson is the domestic international or domestic amateur scouting director, and then
Different
the
group.
international department, whole group of different guys.
All
whole
right.
group of different
Those
guys.
guys might need a raise.
Listen,
I mean, I know that we're not
in.
in the business of just handing out cash.
Right.
They're clearly not, because the best player is fighting over what, $800,000 with William Contreras.
Yeah.
So we're not into giving out raises, but fascinating deal. Let's go.
Yeah.
Dave, month
Big
away.
day.
A
Yeah.
month away from pitchers and catchers reporting.
Coming up fast, man. Can't wait.
The
It's
smi-
gonna be a good year. It's gonna be the year.
The smile
Telling
for
you.
Dave. I sure hope so. I
Indeed.
sure hope so. Because I already
I'm-
was griping online today about baseball.
Yeah.
You know, Sunday Night Baseball lineup came out here today.
No, Brewer, I saw your
We
tweet.
can't even sniff a Sunday Night
Yeah.
Baseball broadcast.
Yeah, it's all New
crazy.
York. New
They
York,
not won the
LA,
division back-to-back
Philly.
years.
You know how this goes. It's the same reason the Bucks didn't play on Christmas.
Is
It's
anyone
because
wa-
of eyes? There's no eyes on Milwaukee and whatever. We're all we got. We're all we need. I'm done caring about trying to grow a national fan base and a national audience to Milwaukee. Like
Just insane.
I agree
Just
with
gonna
Deserve
say,
win.
Brian Anderson and Jeff Levering are better.
That's a great point too. I'd rather watch my guys.
I think
you
they're
might be
better
right.
than the national guys. ESPN's
Yeah.
gonna have.
Yeah, you're probably right. And frankly, I don't know that anyone's watching Sunday Night Baseball anymore. I'm completely honest with you. Since it turned into like a talk show a number of years ago.
Like, oh, Red Sox, Yankees again.
Again, like I don't know if anyone's watching it, but
No, I was a dude that used to love watching John Miller and my
What? Joe
guy-
Morgan?
and
You
Joe
kidding me?
Morgan. I used to love it. Bum, bada, bum, ba, ba. That was the sound of our summer. But you know those things. I mean, baseball tonight. Those things is not
Oh.
like. By the way, let's really. I want to shout out the names that they've done a great job. It's Luis Perez. He's the International Player Evaluation
Luis.
Director. Fernando Vera Cierto, who's the Latin American Scouting and International Player Assistant Director. Those were the two guys that first
Yeah.
started watching Jackson.
Yeah, Gary Peralta, another big player there, big scout.
And our Venezuelan supervisor, Jose Rodriguez, and the Venezuelan cross-checker, Javier Castillo. Those guys,
that's what I'm
those
talking
are the
about.
They're
guys,
putting in work
they're
down
putting
there.
in work. When we're sitting having a good time, sitting on our couch, eating time, we don't know what's going on. Those are the guys putting in work for the Brewers' future. So I appreciate those guys.
Oh, we're just sitting in our parents' basement. Is that what you're
when
trying to say
we're-
here?
When we're sitting around.
Jeez.
I'm just saying, those are the when you don't think about like the work you put in to see the fruits of your labor years and years down the road, it's got to be a sense of pride for those guys.
Oh, it's got to be an amazing moment.
To see these guys
absolutely.
Come up, to see Jackson Trail hit playoff home runs. So, yeah.
And by the way, this Braylon Antunes guy that the Brewers are signing, he's from the same hometown as Jackson Cherry.
Let's go. Why not?
Just go back to that one more time.
Did you hear about did you hear about this other guy from my town? Oh, no, let's go watch him. Hey, do you want to be with the Brewers? Look how well it's worked out.
By the way,
Jackson.
Let's get him in here.
Jackson does have a third brother. He's got another brother down there. It's
Hold
like
on,
12,
he's not
13.
on the squad yet? Oh, yeah, we got to get him.
Yeah, it's like 12 or 13.
We got to get him in.
I believe
Let's figure out a way to change that birth certificate and get him on in
If he's 12 and he's his brother, let's just invest now. I'm good enough to take a flyer on him.
I think, all right, hold on one second. Let's get that new birth certificate out here. All right. I am 16.
We don't have to do shady stuff, okay, Billy? I think that's within the rules what they're doing. I know you want to like mess with the birth certificate. We don't have to do all that.
I just want to make sure he's on the program. I want to make sure he's in here.
Oh, he's in. His brother's in the big team, so why not? He's going to be looking at us.
I mean, in bench warmers at work, they just handed him the
I am 12.
piece of paper and $20, and there it worked. I am
sure,
12.
I'm sure he's going to come up and visit, and he'll take batting practice and do all these things.
He'll probably go through the correct ways of doing it.
I think we got the inside track. If he becomes a great player, don't you think we have the inside track?
I'm just trying to do my 111th, okay?
I appreciate that, Billy.
Just trying to do my part.
Yeah.
Non-W-2 employee of any of these teams.
Yes,
I will do the tampering.
Guys that fake their birth certificates though, but they try to say that they're younger than they actually are.
But I will.
19-year-olds saying that they're 14
because they're more valuable.
Yeah,
that's the game, right?
Trust me, I will take that L. I will do the tampering for the programs. I'm not employed by any of the teams, so I can help us with that. All right.
Yeah,
I'll fall on that sword.
And JB, I appreciate you. He wants me to put it on a t-shirt. No, the quote was, "We're all we've got. We're all we need."
That's right.
That's the quote.
That is the walk-off quote. We got some t-shirts. There's no money in t-shirts, but there's money in no BS with Billy and Sari. And we're back after this. We pay a couple of bills, and we'll hand it off to Mike Heller in 15 minutes on the game.
This is John Kuhn. You know me as a football aficionado, but did you also know that I'm quite the fastener nerd? Indeed, I could talk 9 till noon about carbon steel, socket head cap screws. Not only Packer Fastener has real fastener nerds who can talk nuts, bolts, screws all day long. They're the brainy industrial supply experts you need if you're a contractor, a fabricator, or even a manufacturer. So go with the smart choice and keep it real with PackerFastener.com. Hello, this is John Kuhn for Hildebrand Law Firm. When I played, it was all about trust. Trust my teammates, trust myself, trust the process. And now, trust for my family's well-being is with Hildebrand Law Firm. Your family's financial security is vital. Hildebrand Law believes estate planning is for everyone. So don't put it off. I didn't. Kirsten Hildebrand and her expert team will show you how to protect your assets for you and your family. Visit Hildebrand Law today, your local estate planner. Your family deserves it. To learn more, visit them at hildebrandlawfirm.net. That's hildebrandlawfirm.net. You can trust Hildebrand Law. I do.
Badger fans, the temperatures may be dropping, but the Big Ten action at the Kohl Center is just heating up. This winter, we've got an action-packed schedule of Badger men's and women's basketball and men's hockey games right here at home. Gather your friends and family, secure your seats, and create lasting memories with us at the Kohl Center. For the full Badger schedule and to purchase your tickets, visit uwbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS. That's uwbadgers.com or 1-800-GO-BADGERS.
I'm Dr. Dan Ross of Ross Dental New Berlin and our second Ross Dental Waukesha location. In dentistry, technology improves your experience ongoing if your dentist keeps up. We do. Most dentists finish same-day dental restorations the next visit, or the visit after that, after you're fitted with a temporary restoration. At Ross Dental, you come in with one tooth or teeth in need of substantial restoration and leave the same day with a fully restored, beautiful smile. With Ross's sedation dentistry, we can even replace a whole upper or lower arch of severely damaged or decayed teeth painlessly and quickly. Using Ross Dental's cutting-edge CEREC, I scan your prep tooth and send the precise AutoCAD-generated dimensions to our in-house mill. You relax. A filling or crown matching your natural tooth enamel is fabricated in minutes for perfect same-day, healthful, permanent restoration. With Ross Dental's affordable financing and convenient New Berlin and Waukesha locations, you can schedule same-day restorations, and very soon you'll smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com. That's RossDentalWI.com.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain,
I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy. And it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
They say seeing is believing. And when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for University Housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Sunny and slightly warmer today with highs in the 20s, then increasing clouds and a chance for light snow after about 8 p.m. Up to 1 inch will be possible. Lingering flurries Thursday morning, then partly sunny with highs in the upper 30s. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com.
Coming up Wednesday, the Mike Heller Show goes noon to 3 on the game. We always visit with Jim Polzine on Wednesdays. He'll react to the end of the Packers season, but so will Pete Doherty of the Green Bay Press-Gazette, PackersNews.com. The Mike Heller Show, Wednesday, noon to 3 on the game.
Round and third, heading for home. It is No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian hanging out with you. Glad y'all chose to be entertained by us throughout the day, because there is plenty. There's always plenty of options for you to be able to listen, watch, stream, and we're doing all of those things on No BS. We're streaming live on YouTube, X, and Facebook now.
Indeed, and we're happy to do it, and we're happy you're out there patronizing us. Thank you very much, because we know there's a lot of options and we appreciate it. Yeah.
Now, patronizing generally a lot of people think has a negative connotation.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said it like that. What's the right word? Not
patronage.
Your patronage. We appreciate your patronage. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about, Dave Gasper.
Coming up with words.
Thanks for getting me out of the fire.
You outworded Armin Sarian.
Oh, I appreciate it. He got me.
How does that feel? That usually doesn't happen to you.
Nah, it feels great. I'm happy that he did it, and I'm saying it doesn't happen.
Seems
normally.
like it. Yeah, it seems like you're pretty happy.
You make
about
it sound like I don't want to be the only guy that can use the correct words. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm just saying you're a wordsmith.
Try to be, but doesn't mean other people can't. And I appreciate Dave for doing it.
I'm a wordsmith too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we got two of them out here, because Lord knows I am not.
We're there to support each other.
Some wild interactions that we've gotten here on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line throughout the day. Really just cannot be more thankful for all of those that talk about it. And like B Hintage dropped this one in here that I've been waiting and saving for a little while here, Armin.
Yeah.
Talking about our conversation about athletes coming in, kind of made men, right? Like, let's be honest, probably some of them breadwinners of the family.
Oh, definitely.
Because like when you're making this kind of money in college, parents can be working their entire lives and not sniffing the kind of money that some of these guys are making. But paying players before they've done anything before, and now we are wondering why they act the way they do. It's ridiculous. Let's look at Giannis. Came up with nothing and made it to the NBA at the highest level, still works as hard as he did when he had nothing. We need to treat players in and before college in similar fashion. Not that they have nothing, but maybe let's not put the cart before the horse on paying him up. He said he drops the mic. Now, I do think Giannis is an example of what the difference in upbringing can do, right? Like the intense importance on continuing to capitalize. I think it also explains when Drew Holiday was on a podcast with Paul George a couple of weeks ago. He said, that guy's still the cheapest son of a gun I know.
And it's good to know.
I love him.
And
he was one of my favorite guys in the world.
Right.
Still the cheapest guy I know.
And he doesn't have to be, right? But the idea, I think, for him is that the money's not going to change him. I mean, he's going to have it, and he's going to be able to provide for his family and generations down the road because of it. But I don't think he wants it to change the way he is, the process, the way he goes about things. And that's one example of it. Like, he'll still appreciate a free sandwich if he can get it.
Yeah. And I think that goes to, again, what our conversation was, is like, you got to be John Hammond. You got to be hunting and being able to identify those parts of the characteristics. And that is going to be more and more increasingly difficult to do as we go on in this world that we're living in. Armin Sarian, great work here today.
2 billion.
Banger of a show. Dave Gasper produced an elite program. We're going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to have a winner in Billy's parlay of the day. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk to Matt LePay tomorrow, amongst other things. Play What Does Billy Know with Tap In Golf Bar. Some of our favorite things to do. We hand it off to the Mike Keller Show right after this. It's been No BS. We'll try to be better on a Thursday for Billy and Sarian. Stay right here on The Game.
So why you